Here we are in the green room. Kayla, informally, since the show hasn't started yet, are you familiar with the Grant Amato case? Informal survey of one. Your answer off the air. I've got a bunch of, not a bunch, but enough backstory to fill you in. Show idea came so random. Now I remember it from an old online sketch comedy group called Old English. Grand Tomato case. Grand Tomato.
I thought he said that too, and then I was like, I know he was saying Grant Amato, but
Bartholomew Amato Marius. Full name. All right, then I'll save it and we'll get into it when we get started because
he's bananas.
I'm whoa. But it would encourage you to go into this if this case is at all interesting to you after this. Look into it recreationally because it is fucking crazy. It's like in the theme that so many popular true crime cases are. Just like a shitty kid who never got told no.
Mm-hmm.
Or enough, anyway. I don't know. We'll get into it. Get your bingo card. Everybody get their bingo cards. Unless this is the future, in which case, sorry about it. You missed. By a lot or a little. More every day, really.
Yeah.
Got a very special prize, a very shiny looking trophy that I'll put your name on. Oh, and this one's so full of cliches. And they're all, well, I don't want to talk about it too much too soon. Some people to show up and fill out the peanut gallery before we start cracking this baby open.
Yeah.
Computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Got so many slides that it takes forever to get through them all, but also OBS, like their randomizer is hardly random. It seems to favor quite a few particulars, like the Boone files here. Comes up a lot. I can't blame it. Yeah. She is a catch. There's PJ in the background, clearly unintentional. Dragon Butt seems to be a recent favorite as well. Not bad. Shaggy looking me, but not bad. Could be a pirate.
Arr.
Maybe I'll do that next Halloween.
This coming Halloween.
Yeah, next. This is the same one. I'm obviously can't go back in time to switch up the last one. Dear God, the implications of time travel alone.
I wouldn't mind doing pirate themed.
Well, I'll think about it later. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Looking to get in on that shit. I want to see my exact pirate costume show up, so I'm going to keep the details hush hush. 2 eye patches, 1. I don't know. A parrot, no parrot, macaw. Will I get a mina bird? Will I go commando, as a lot of pirates probably did? I mean, Haynes wasn't making anything back then.
Right. Yeah.
It's like really billowy pants with all your meat and veg flapping around. But that's life on the high seas. It's just part of the job. All right, let's get the show started.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
welcome to the show. My name is Dave. It is Flingo Friday. We're doing a live thing. Chris is over there sitting in on the chair. Producer, I don't have the camera on, so none of these I could get to work in time. This
well,
one
I wish you had told me before I was like waving to a non-existent camera.
Well, it was in my direction, so I appreciated it. Anyway, so you probably read the title. You said you're here for the same reason we all are. Let me get him pulled up. Zoop. There he is, little Grand Tomato. So,
Grand Tomato.
The thing about Grant is there's a couple of caveats. We're starting like 2 hours into a 4 hour almost, 3:43 interrogation. I can't promise how long we're going to go tonight because Jesus Christ, that would if you let me run wild, I could turn this into 9 hours and nobody wants that. Not even me.
No, I don't either.
So we're probably going to just do as much as we can because at the end of this, his brother gets to come in and talk and he basically gets a dressing down by his brother, but whatever. So we're going to go as long as we can. So the basic backstory is Grant here, total screw up, and he just allowed to be one. So he tried to become a nurse and stole a bunch of drugs, allegedly, that he may or may not have been convicted of. I don't know. His nursing license was in jeopardy for a while. His family was footing the bill for all of his legal troubles. He became addicted to a Bulgarian cam model named Sylvie, who drained him dry to the tune of like $250,000. And his family was in ruins from this guy. And so, back against the wall, he decided to kill them all. He killed his mom while she was sitting at the computer, probably hit her back to him drinking a glass of wine. Pow. Shot his dad. There may or may not have been a scuffle. And then shot his brother, who was footing the bill for basically everything, as soon as he walked in the door because of some text. So the stuff you're not going to get that we've already skipped past in this footage is basically a bunch of rapport building. They talk about the trip to Japan that his brother, the aforementioned brother who got killed, foot the bill of. He was in and out of rehab for internet addiction, and that cost a bunch of money. Mm-hmm. So just know he's like a perpetual screw up. But I guess rightfully so, because he was allowed to flourish in such a way. We're basically at the turning point, roughly, of when they're going to start being like, okay, thanks for talking about anime and Twitch streaming and all this other bullshit for 2 hours. Now it's time to get serious. So it'll take some time to acclimate, but then obviously we'll be stopping and starting as usual. So hope you got something to drink. Cheers.
So on the top of the chat, there is a pinned thing of your bingo card.
Oh, yeah. We're also playing bingo.
So click that link, and we will go through the bingo together.
Yeah, the interrogation bingo. Chris is hopefully going to be keeping an eye on that closer than me. I'm going to be listening because these are all the tropes I know.
Yeah, if you can remember them, because I have the chat and then I have the bingo on a different thing. So
we'll give it our best shot. So here we go. Grand Amato.
Physically harmed you or hurt you. Something happened that caused an altercation.
Okay, so sorry to stop it so soon. Just a little context to show you where we're at. So what he's talking about is they've found the bodies. They basically, because what they just talked about before this was Grant was hanging out at a Publix, which feature a lot in true crime if you're into that. Publix comes up a lot, but he was at a Publix. He was trying to look for stories about a murdered family. He drove by, and they can prove he drove by with cell phone stuff, and he saw what was going on, and yada, yada, yada. So they're trying to play up the self-defense angle because that's a super popular one and often breaks people. So here we are.
And I didn't do anything at the house besides get my stuff together and take it out to my car. And that's, I didn't, besides that one thing that I told you guys where I was going down the road to come back maybe, besides that, I didn't.
You saw nothing that was out of the ordinary?
No.
Fort Christmas area or 419 area?
No, I mean,
Did you even get up to the Lake Mills Fort Christmas area where that guy's blinking lights are?
no. When I came back, I didn't come up to there.
There is, and you're a better electronics than I am. I'm gonna go ahead and admit that. There's a digital footprint, and there's ways to see things that we know that don't make sense. Even though your phone may not have service, there's still issues with the phone.
We see you.
Yeah, so here's the thing that is always frustrating, I'm sure, to everybody, but it's just like a fact of life now to me, is we all know in our minds, we have fully conceptualized now that our phones ping all the time and can track us if need be. They'll pull the records and bing. It's not like the olden days where like the networks were so fragile they couldn't save your text messages for more than 30 days.
Right.
Like this is tracking you all the time. As long as you own the phone, they can track it. And people go, well, yeah, obviously we know that. Why then sit and lie to the face of these detectives to be like, we can prove exactly where your phone was? Because they obviously don't want to imply that for whatever reason they'll leave the suspect out. But like your phone was there, your boots were there, your car was there. What's up with that shit? It's weird. But yeah, so that's where we're at.
And it was on you the entire time
Yeah.
when you left the house
Yeah.
until you were in touch with law enforcement.
I can track.
And then they'll just look at me like, yeah, I had it the whole time. You can track me. And I swear to God, I'm not the places where it proves I was.
Everything you're telling me isn't just copacetic and doesn't add up. Because there's what I think, what you think, what she thinks, and then there's things that are hard facts that you can't manipulate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think something happened at the house based on my knowledge right now, and you're afraid to say it. You're afraid to come back and say that I was a victim, I was hurt, I had something that happened there that I don't want you to tell because it's something maybe embarrassing or not good, but I know a lot more than I can let on right now. And things you're not telling me, I can't help you if you won't let me help you.
So where's the missing piece? What have we missed here?
I mean, when I had come back that other time, I crossed in front of the dude's fence, the red blinking lights ones.
Okay. Grant is so stupid. Like, keep in mind, he's been here 2 hours already talking about nonsense. Pulled into a police station, interrogated, no windows. This is not a friendly witness room. This is an aggressive interrogation room. He is on the far side of the table. They are between him and the door. It is like the full 9 yards going on. You can see the microphones and cameras everywhere. And if you could spend 2 hours just shooting this shit on your own time with a detective about your life or how much you love Twitch streaming or how you thought you would be famous about this, that, or the other, or like how long it takes to be a nurse. Like, I realize, we've talked about this before, but it doesn't make anybody look good. Like, the longer you sit and talk about nothing, the worse it gets. But I can also see the flip side of that coin, because some people are just weirdos, but they very rarely get seen as genuine suspects, or like they go, okay, this is just a weirdo. Grant's a weirdo, but he's like weird in a super evil way.
Yeah.
Because like he can't even manufacture like concern.
No.
Like when you're in a high stakes situation like a police station, and like they had guns on his ass, and like they pulled him out of the parking lot or something like that. Like it wasn't like, hey, what's up with that? And just to sit here and be like, I don't know, like it would. And now they're talking about him driving by his house, seeing flashing lights because all the emergency vehicles are there. He was scoping out the crime scene.
Oh, yeah.
And they know it. And they're like, what's up with that? And he's like, I don't know.
Just cause.
I just drove by, I saw the lights.
Hey, Matt.
That was
So,
Friday during the day when you said you were going to come back.
Hey,
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Joe says,
But it was after you did
If I remember correctly, there's various levels of info they can get without a warrant, and locations might be on a less protected level than texts and stuff.
Right, but like at this point, keep in mind also that cops can lie, but that's not a lie. It's just a matter of time that they go, guess what? We're going to pull your goddamn phone, idiot. And of course they will. Like if you're suspected in anything basically above like just shitting your pants in public, they're going to pull your shit. Like burglary, a triple homicide is going to warrant looking into his phone. So even if it's like bullshit, like they don't necessarily know it now, they will know it in a matter of hours.
Right, right.
And so it's just stupid to be like, well, because I get the instinct of the criminal to be like, I don't want to do anything to further punish myself. But like just being a bulldog fighting in the face of the inevitable, it just makes you look so stupid.
Yeah.
And then you have to sit there later, and the jury had to watch you, and the jury get to watch your dumbass behavior being like, I don't know, like willfully obtuse. So now you have to like try and just convince them that you're just an idiot.
Matt said, wasn't he wearing his nursing scrubs when they arrested him at the motel, or am I wrong?
This is what he was wearing. Like
It
they
looks
just,
like scrubs.
They just pulled him in from the hotel, and yeah, like his bullshit story was he may or may not have had an interview after the murders that went well, and they were yada yada bullshit. No.
If you did that, you would have seen something, and there would be something out of the ordinary that you would have seen. If you passed that, you passed something out of the ordinary. What was it?
I saw like a news van, and then I don't think there might have been like a cop car. There was like traffic being.
Human nature. Human nature. What do people do when I go back to my old neighborhoods? And I've lived a couple places in Central Florida in the 23 years I've been here. I see something major going on. I get on my phone or I get on my computer. I look. I wonder what's happened by my neighborhood, and look.
Did that even spark your attention?
There's a digital footprint of where I went.
Hello,
on my
Grant.
phone. It's right here, phone. They can tell me I looked at these maps on my phone because it's on there.
Right.
The memory's there. You can't delete it. You can't.
And also, P.S. like they're just sort of glossing over this for the moment, but like looking down your street and seeing flashing lights anywhere in the vicinity of where you live would like send shivers down your spine.
Yeah.
Like I was coming home once, and apparently some fracas was going on between two hillbillies out here, and the cops got a call, and it was all settled. And they were just like, three cops, hooked thumbs through their belt loops, sitting around bullshitting, but they were right in front of my house, and I was like, what the fuck? So I immediately. But when I saw they were all nonchalantly shooting the shit, I was like, okay, whatever. But for that brief moment, I was like, what the fuck is going on, and why is it so close? And Grant here, obviously, I don't know what instinct in us that pulls that card. It's like, don't overreact to something that a normal person would. Like, you're looking down, seeing like, oh, my street, like there's yellow crime scene tape. I can't go down it. There's a bunch of news vans, cop cars, and shit like that. I'll check back later. Like,
yeah, I don't.
On what planet does that sound real? Only in like the eyes of a fucking idiot murderer. An idiot murderer, a regular, like normal, like competent murderer, the ones who get away with it, probably don't do that stupid shit.
You saw some things that are really out of the ordinary.
Right.
And I don't believe for a second that you thought that I'm not going to look what's going on. What happened in my neighborhood?
Seriously.
I mean, I didn't search it up on anything, on any of the devices that I have.
Did you search it somewhere else?
At,
remember, like I said, I know.
Seriously.
Yeah, Matt, yeah.
Anything that happens near you, you go, oh my God, because even though realistically, there's a 0% chance it could have happened to you because it's always like a domestic thing or like a 1 in a billion shot. But you still go, it still gets you shook because, you knew those people hypothetically. And for them to just snap, it makes you go, oh my God, I didn't even know them technically. Like when I was a kid, we lived at an intersection of like a T in the road. And like, I had a friend over there, and I may have told this story before, but like her dad beat her mom to death with like a baseball bat all over the house. Like, it was just a fucking bloodbath all through the house. And then he sat in a chair and waited for her to come home from school. And like, I was just a kid. I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. And you go, oh my God. But then, you know, I wasn't in that marriage. I was never in danger, but still, you get shook.
Things
Yeah.
that you don't know. And honesty will get you all the things I could do for you. To be honest, I can't deal with someone who lies to me,
Right.
but I'll deal with someone and help them till the end, no matter what. Believe it or not, that's just me, and she'll tell you.
She'll tell you.
What it is. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say if I can do something that can help you, I'm going to help you, because
Look at this kind of sloppy walking the line of promises. Like, I'll take the truth as far as I can go, and I can't do much, but I'll push it as far as blah, blah, blah.
This wouldn't be
know
the
you,
I've
sir.
been totally honest with you block, would it? He said he's been honest with you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I mean, he says it a lot, and we'll call it. So yeah, I'm being honest, honestly, because he is. He's very honest with Grant, even though by and large.
No, this would be the I've been totally honest with you, the cop.
Oh yeah, my bad. But yeah, moral of the story is same thing. Just switch it over to the cop now.
I know something. I can't tell you exactly, but you said won't you tell me, and I'll tell you if you're being truthful. What'd you search?
On when I had gone to the Panera, I searched for like top stories, Oviedo or Chuliota or something like that.
And found what?
And then I saw that there was, it was like just the initial, like it had like a video, but I didn't listen to the video, but it had just an initial thing of that there was
Hello.
shootings in Salton Circle, but it didn't say like the address or.
So here's the thing, really quick. Not only did he drive by like his street and saw the thing, but there were already news articles talking about a shooting on his street. So he got confirmation that shit was going down. Crazy. Hey, want to see the clear stuff come out?
I didn't want to say it.
Want to see the
But hello.
clear stuff.
Welcome
They're
to
very young or very old. Welcome. Lucky to have you.
Oh, it was just like this is the
Was that
preliminary.
on one of the news stations?
We're dangerously close to another bingo.
What was the
thing,
site
so-
you searched?
Hang in there.
I honestly can't remember.
And
I think it was one of the Weshes, but. I
And
can't
you saw the story, because we've seen the same stories. You've seen the story, because there's a thing that will tell me how long of the time you spent on that.
Right.
You saw what happened.
Right.
Yeah, I was
Obviously.
on there for like 20 seconds.
Well-
And what was your thoughts when you reviewed this story?
I was freaking out, and I was just like blank. I didn't know what to do.
Now with a little context, all of those layers, and he is now culminated in sitting in this room with these detectives, and they go, "How'd you feel?" And he goes, I was freaking out. Yeah,
Totally.
you look like it. Like if I, for a second, thought that half of the shit that Grant did happened to me in any way, yeah, I'd be wigging the fuck out and not like reliving it, being like, yeah, I was freaking out. I read that news article for 20 seconds and I was like, freaking.
Oh, he's mocking
No.
Lorne.
Oh, yeah.
Like Crystal Pepsi.
Now is the time.
So what do you think happened?
Now is the time.
There you go. Now is the time.
Now is the time.
He says that a lot. Now is the time, and now is the exact time.
Yes.
And we're so close to another one, but I'm not going to call it because he hasn't really said it yet. So let's keep going.
I think that there was something that obviously happened at the house.
Obviously. Now, fucking, like the word shooting came from his mouth earlier, unless I'm mistaken. But then he goes, something happened at the house?
Happened.
I don't know what happened.
I know better.
Oh, God.
Listen to me. I know better. I can help you, Grant, with honesty.
Hey,
I
Heelgoth.
can help you with
What up,
honesty.
Big Goth?
We think something else happened before you left the home. That you're either
Like a
afraid
triple
of
homicide.
or embarrassed to talk about.
Yeah, this
But
is a
we
big
need to know
whoopsie. I'd be
exactly what
real
happened.
embarrassed if I
Like
committed a
Ann said,
triple
we
murder.
can place you there at certain times. And so
Hey,
we need
get
to
a part
know
of the
what
bingo card on the top of the pinned link. If you click it, you can start the bingo. And I can let you know which we've already done.
Come on in. The water's fine.
happened before you left that house, because you didn't leave with everything being okay.
I honestly, I don't have anything else that I can really say. I mean, I don't know.
Do you even know why law enforcement got involved? Like, what brought us to that home?
No,
Oh.
You just said it. You know something bad happened there.
CNJ Dev.
Your voice, not mine. I have not told you anything what's happened there. Something bad happened. You're here with us for a couple hours.
Seriously, a couple hours? Now that, like, again, put yourself in this man's shoes. If for even a couple minutes you're pulled into a police station with all the context we have, like, I would be wringing the throat, or at least attempting to, of the closest person to try and get information on what the fuck is going on. And yeah, hey, talking about anime for 2 hours and going to Japan on your brother's dime was not above Grant's, I guess, self-preservation instinct.
You admit that you've looked at a site and seen something bad happen, because the video is not of just a general area. It's of a specific location, correct?
yeah, I saw like a driveway or something.
Whose driveway did you say?
I don't know. I saw like there was like a gate. There was a gate, and then I saw like that there was like two cars.
Just fuck. Okay, here's the thing. Just imagine yourself and where you live right now. And if you've lived longer than 6 months at that place, could you pick it like in a flash? Like if you saw a photo of it, like a part of it, could you recognize something like a fence or a driveway, like the things that Grant is seeing, and somehow can't identify? Would you be able to do that? I'm genuinely curious if you think you could do that typing square. Because sometimes when I watch a lot of these interrogation footage, or stuff from all over the U.S. and abroad, I go, is that within some people's wheelhouse? Like, does there exist a person who, like, if they saw all of this, or even just a picture of their house, not recognize it? He grew up in this house, P.S. Not like, it's an apartment, we just moved in.
And I didn't see anything past that.
Okay.
Well, is that driveway and gate your home?
I honestly did not fixate on it for like a long period of time.
I forget, Joe. Don't worry about it.
I saw like the one with an actual like gate.
You've been here with us.
Bullshit. If you see your fucking driveway and enough to see the gate, typically you can see through gates.
Well, not only that, but like you're right. I mean, he's going down the road of his street, and it's like a natural thing. Like a lot of times when I'm driving, you go into autopilot and you like pull into your own driveway and you like know where you are without knowing where you are.
Like trying to deny your association with a crime so hard that you're willing to defy reality as humans know it is something that always, I don't know. I try not to let a lot of this shit affect me, but it's one of those things where, like, if I were sitting there, I would pray that someone would install one of those corrupt cop switches so you could take a swing at him every now and again.
Be like an Elliott
Something
Stabler.
bad has happened at your house, and to date, so long, you haven't even asked us about anybody.
Seriously.
Well, that's because for the last time that I was arrested, I mean, like nobody would tell me anything.
Once you start telling me something that's truthful that I know, then we're going to have a conversation of exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're a smart guy. You know something's happened at your home. You have law enforcement here. You haven't heard or gotten any
Well,
emails
I
from
mean,
your family.
I'm just scared as to what the answer is.
Why am I here? It's been 2 hours. I'm so scared. I was able to tell you about my anime watching with my brother. I was shivering.
You need to
Dragon
help
Ball
yourself
Z.
by filling in the blanks of what happened that night so we can give you the answer. Did anything more happen with you and your father besides him grabbing you up from the couch and yelling at you and kicking you out? Anything that at all? Did he harm you, hit you,
No.
draw any weapons on you?
No, he didn't do anything like that.
Yeah. Heelgoth says, maybe I wouldn't
mean,
recognize it if the paint color changed significantly, but the neighborhood is the biggest factor. I doubt all the neighbors and businesses and street names would have changed.
Seriously, like that's what I'm saying, and nobody, because it's going to be a circular logic. I get why the police don't want to confront them on this, because it's easier to play this footage in front of a jury and have them just think the things that I'm screaming.
He looks like an older Cyrax minus the scrota beard.
Oh, you're right. He's like a more well-formed Cyrax.
Yes.
Yeah, you're totally right. What a piece of
Gross.
crap. Yeah, where were we? Well, yeah, moral of the story is, like, nobody in these interrogations wants to call them. And I understand, like, you can't make someone answer a question, but I don't think half of these detectives really employ silence to the fullest per each suspect. Personal opinion. We'll talk about it later.
This is the time to come to Jesus, to be honest.
Hey, good news. He brings up Jesus. That's part of our bingo board.
Swears to God / brings up Jesus.
Listen, this is time to come to Jesus.
And so for those of you that are coming in late, we already marked off now is the time, and I've been totally honest with you by the cop.
And the free space. I'm really looking at that one
And
hard
the free
because
space.
it helps.
Yeah.
Because you know more. I'm looking in your eyes. Your eyes tell me exactly that you are hurting inside. I get it. Brother, I get it. You're hurting.
And this is the
You're
only
scared.
time we can help you.
Because once we get to a certain point, there's nothing I can do. It's in the hands of who has it.
There's
Nothing
not
I
much you
can
can do now. I mean, what
Honest-
are you going to do?
Here's the thing. I get like if you're just cold to the room, like if you're just because a lot of these detectives don't seem like they're bad at being humans, but I've seen so many appeals to a moral or an ethical side of these suspects that isn't there, that, like, for instance, there's some footage out there for Cassandra's Blanc, who killed not only his wife, his pregnant wife, but her father. And it's just the flippancy of which it's handled by the detective. Like the fucking Cassandra is there sitting with his hands in his thing. He's already eaten 2 packs of Famous Amos cookies and drinking God knows how many Cokes, and he's sitting there not giving a single fuck. And the detective is like, "Come on, man, I can see it weighing on your shoulders. Give it to me, man. Come on, bro, just break it down. Come on, dude. Like, it's weighing on you." And meanwhile, this fucking nutsack is sitting there still back against the thing, lean back, hands in his pockets, popping a cookie in every once in a while, and meanwhile the detective is still like, "It's weighing on your heart," and he's like, "Oh well, whatever," flip, and he like flew the Famous Amos cookie in the air and catches it in his mouth. Read the room, god damn it! Like, there are times when that works, when there are suspects out there that are emotional, that works so often. But when you see someone like this and you start to chip away at that granite wall with your toothbrush, maybe take a hard look at what you're doing.
Hey, Tony.
What's up, Tony?
Honesty is always the best policy. You get caught stealing a car, you admit to it, I did it, how can I get help? What can be done to help me? And let me tell you,
I need a better
the rest
job
of
so I
my
don't have to steal
story.
cars.
You're
And
holding
if
back.
something happened that you were defending yourself, then we need to know that.
The alternate theory.
If you were protecting yourself because you were in fear, then that makes sense. But we need to know exactly what happened for you to protect yourself.
You can't minimize this. Once a wise man told me one time, once a bomb goes off, you can't defuse it. You can't. It's
Brilliant
already out
man. Wise.
there. Now
Beyond
I'm
his
going to
years.
say, how do I put Band-Aids on myself to minimize the injuries I have? And we're giving you that opportunity.
Shakespeare,
I
he
want to give you
ain't.
that opportunity. I don't think you're a bad guy at all. I really don't.
Did we do both being honest ones or just the cop one?
No, because Grant hasn't said he's being honest yet.
Okay. Thank you.
I think you're going through a very stressful and emotional time right now with being out of work and just dealing with all the problems with the arrest.
Out of work for
You're
6
probably
months.
not used to depending on somebody to pay all your bills. So now you have to do mom and dad or have to give you money. Cody's having to give you money, and there's a significant debt to people. $200,000. I don't know what I do. I mean, mortgage, yeah, I get it, or something like that. Or
200,000 of his parents' and brothers' dollars went to Bulgaria so he could burn one down multiple times a day at that price. Jesus.
or a medical bill for my child, yeah, I get it.
And then kill your parents and brother over it.
But talking to some girl, in Bulgaria, you hit it right on the head. You were embarrassed about it, and you have nothing to be embarrassed about.
And you said you had a connection.
No, that's totally cool.
And
It's totally fine. Great.
He was a
Here it
nurse.
is,
Seeing
wanna
want to
help
see
you.
the clear
She
stuff
wanna
come out.
Yeah, he was a nurse. He was studying to be an anesthesiologist nurse, but he was, oh yeah, bruh,
So he could
seriously.
allegedly steal the anesthesia.
His cover story was he was medicating his patients who he didn't feel were adequately relaxed, which is like such bullshit. But like, look at him. He's so weak and frail. His body's eating his own air. He was slamming those drugs.
Dude, the Alex Murdoch trial
Yeah.
and like the bomb threat and all that crazy shit.
Yeah, that's a legacy. That's like a Fall of the House of Usher. Like, I'm watching that one closely.
Alex makes Grant look frugal.
I
Yeah,
already know that.
Jesus.
I do. Here's the chance you can shake your head no and say I don't know. You do know, and I know you know. She knows. She knows you know.
We all know.
there's a reason you didn't go back to the house. There's a reason why you haven't tried to reach out. I mean, it's
I wanna
odd
help.
you haven't heard from anybody.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's words that like I can't think of to even say. But I'm
What?
assuming that
He's so inept, he can't even describe that he has become speechless. He's like trying to explain, like trying to pick his best words to say, I'm so shook by this, I can't even think about responding. But he's doing it in such a way that it's like, are you fucking kidding?
when you see that there is a shooting somewhere and it's around and it's
You get a little freaked out
that
like
it
me.
has to do with my family.
Uh-oh, my family's dead.
Your family has no known enemies. Nobody has a problem with them. Nobody.
Right.
But you.
My dad told the mafia that he was going
But,
to get
I mean,
him.
it's like I don't. Like I
Guess what? That was a long-ass silence, so put that in your bingo card. You earned it.
Long silence, 10 seconds.
And there'll be more, so don't worry about that. We'll fill out the quotient if you're a little
don't
squeamish
know
about
how
it.
to even say the words.
But give me a roundabout what you're thinking.
Seriously, like, that's the stupidest fucking shit. Like, I don't even know how to say words.
Did they
I'm
tell him there
so-
was a shooting?
Yes.
Okay,
Like,
I must have missed it for a sec. Sorry.
we're both dancing around, like both sides, I should say, both sides of this party
Yeah.
are dancing around 3 dead bodies. One who somehow is unable to point it out directly, and the other who is refusing to make eye contact with the other party. And so it's this absurd ring around the mulberry bush. We got the monkey and the weasel. The dead bodies are in the middle.
Somebody in my family's dead.
And how does that make you feel if you're thinking that?
I have absolutely no
Feelings. Is she a therapist now?
ability to comprehend the words. Because, like I said, I've been there
I have
for
no
my whole
ability to
entire life.
comprehend the
And even though
words.
there's
Welcome
been
back,
struggles and
CNJ
everything
Dev.
like that, there has never been any issues.
There's never been the struggles or the issues like happened Thursday. Never for you. I believe you 100%. I believe it's never been like that. But something happened Thursday, unlike anything you've ever experienced in 29 years of your life. Never.
And maybe
He's
you
only
felt
29. Look at
was
that
rock
hairline.
bottom for you.
Yeah, seriously. Like, this is, here's the thing. I know that a lot of old wives' tales about aging and this, that, and the other. Like, stress will legitimately age you. And acting like a shitty person and constantly trying to be a little schemer like fucking Grant was, you're constantly going to be on the run from people who you fuck over, which is going to cause a lot of stress. So you're going to look like Grant here, a fucking like walking cadaver who's like
From here, he looks like he's 40.
yeah, he looks like someone who walked out of a village 10 miles out of Chernobyl. Like he woke up after sleeping 8 hours through like a mild irradiation, and like he's like, "Ugh," and all his hair is falling out. He looks like this fucking like nuclear shadow on a wall.
C&J Dev says this mofo has less hair than Mowo.
That's true.
Remember
Whoa.
the house? Your father gave you an ultimatum. I mean, that's, you're already dealing with the
Stop sending all of our money to Bulgaria so you can masturbate, or you have to leave the house. It was a tough one for Grant. So he had to murder everybody.
debt, and now you have to stop talking to this girl, and now you're being kicked out of the home. I mean, I can understand how you would feel.
This detective has a
Maybe you
hard
wanna lash
part in
out,
the middle of her
or-
head.
If something happened, you'd want to defend yourself.
Sure. Absolutely.
But we need to know what happened.
I mean, I can tell that you guys are like leading me into a certain way of what.
Coercing
The only thing
me.
we're leading you to is wanting to get the truth from you. Not trying to make you say
You're
something
leading
that's not
me
true.
toward me
It's
being
not
a
accurate.
murderer.
The truth. The end. That's it. That's all we want.
First
is the
Andrew say,
absolute
yeah, that's right.
because it's got to come from you. It can't come from us. It can't come from us. Do we know what happened? Yeah, we already know what happened. But it has to still come from you, the truth. Because the parties involved, that's, in all cases, you want the
Now
truth.
it's a
I
party.
don't want somebody to say something that's not true. Absolutely not. I want them to say, this is what happened, and here's why it happened. Because sometimes there are things that are justifiable. I'm dealing with a case right now where some people were jumped in a house, there was a shooting, and the people involved in the shooting are not going to be charged because they have the right to defend themselves.
Here's the thing. You're probably thinking, like, why doesn't Grant just hop on this? Or what do you think is keeping him from doing the whole, yeah, because he spent the first 2 hours, again, trash talking his dad, saying that it was a violent place, he was abused and all of those shit. So you could be like, oh, well, yeah, like you were setting yourself up for this like defense thing because your dad is violent. He was ripping cabinets off the wall and other bullshit. The sticking point is this. He might have gotten away self-defense with the dad or Cody. Like you could pull one thing or the other because they were both more or less shot in the front. His mom was shot in the back.
Yeah.
So like you can't be like, it was 2/3 self-defense because my dad and brother wanted to kill me after I shot my mom.
Right. So it's just going down for one murder instead of 3.
Yeah, the other 2 were totally justifiable homicides because
Yeah.
they said they wanted to kill me after I shot my mom 3 times in the back.
Nothing in the state or federal law says you have to be seriously physically harmed or killed. Nothing does. You have the right to defend yourself. Absolutely, you have
If
the
you're
right
in
to defend
fear
yourself.
of your...
Sure.
you
Come
being
on,
harmed
Grant,
in your
take the
life.
bait.
But Grant, I just need you to come. It's there. It's there. I can see it. It's on the tip of your tongue. You want to say, "Let me tell you what happened."
Okay, so seeing it, whether it's on the eyes, in the eyes, on the shoulders, on the tip of their tongue, we'll call it. So if you're seeing it, that's a bingo
Yep.
spot
Seeing
for
it
you.
in the eyes, on shoulders.
I can see it on you, man.
I'm so close to getting bingo. If I get bingo, do I get my name on a trophy?
Employees are disqualified.
Damn.
I'm being honest. I think you're being honest about.
Where is this case? Oh crap. I don't remember. I want to say Florida because everywhere is Florida.
I'm gonna look it up.
But I'm not sure. The only thing I know probably is it's on the east side of the United States because we don't have
It is
public.
Florida.
Okay, there you go, Florida. Obviously.
95% of the story. I truly do believe you're being
Criminal
honest about
status
that.
in
I think
prison.
it's that 5% of most people because they're afraid to actually talk to us and tell us their story. And sometimes we can help justify their story once they tell us the truth. It's a fact. It happens that people are afraid to tell things. They're afraid, oh, I'm gonna get, you're not gonna believe me, you're not gonna like me, you're gonna think bad of me. It's not the case at all. I have no opinion one way or the other. I don't know you. I don't think bad of you. I just don't know you. If you're a friend, I would think different of you, or somebody I know was something else, or had previous dealings. Yeah, I may have an opinion, but I don't have an opinion of you.
That's an interesting middle of the road take, because usually they'll, even at the end, like we saw with Federica Gondola, even though like we've fully established like they're scumbags essentially in and out, the cop will still go, hey man, I think you're cool. I think you're nice. I think we should be friends. I think we should have a beer sometime if you don't go to jail for triple homicide. This like, hey, I don't know you, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm nothing. That's a weird stance to take, but I guess I get it, because like, look at Grant. He's like 10% more active than Stephen McDaniels. Like, he's still got his vocabulary about him, but only barely. It's just like, I don't know what to tell you guys, and all my words are blah, 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 blah. But look at him. As he's being interviewed, he's not moving, like, hardly at all.
I don't think he's moved. Yeah.
We don't know each other.
CNJ Dev says self-defense is tricky. A pharmacy was robbed in Oklahoma years ago. The pharmacist shoots one of the robbers and chases the other out of the store. That's self-defense. However, he came back into the store and shot the robber he previously wounded again, killing him. No longer self-defense.
Yeah, like all of that, when you read cases like that, it all just seems very obvious, but apparently not, because like there was that case of those kids who are breaking into that old dude's house and stealing stuff and breaking shit. So finally he like set a trap for them and killed them, and like they didn't die immediately, so he like let them bleed out in the basement and didn't call the police until the morning. And he's like, totally justified, don't worry about it. They broke in, I told them I had a gun, I shot them, and they bled out of my basement. Please get their bodies out before they start to stink. It's Yeah, I'll look it up.
Yeah.
That's wild. Yeah. But like, yeah, that's the thing. You can go from a hero to a villain with the same action. You go, hey, stop stealing from me. Pow. And they're on the ground. You're a hero. The second you point at him again and just shoot him, you're a fucking scumbag immediately.
No. So there's no reason for me. But I've been honest with you the entire time. And I will
So
continue to be
honest.
honest with you till the remainder of my career at the Seminole County Sheriff's Office.
I will
Always
die
always
honest
say,
to
hey,
you,
this-
Grant
I'm gonna tell you,
Amato.
and you may not like it, but I'm going to tell you. That's just me. And some people don't do that, and some people will tell you things that are misleading. I'm not going to tell you anything that's misleading, because that's my word.
Even though cops are legally obliged essentially to lie to you, one of their favorite things to do is be like, I'm not going to lie to you because we need to develop a relationship, a working relationship as you go through the penal system. I would never lie to you. And then be like, I got footage of you doing the crime, and I actually don't have shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, because like I've seen so many people come back and talk to the same detective time after time after time, even though they know it's the detective's job to fuck them over legally. So it doesn't matter if they're being straight up or lying or not. It just doesn't matter. Like at this point, they're just looking for a friendly face, I guess. Because let's be real, once you're so like balls deep into a crime like this, you're just looking for someone who will treat you like a human occasionally.
Hilgoth, he didn't say how many years he's been on the force, and the he was totally honest one. The cop one was already marked that off because that was already previously done.
Now, they did say how many years they were both on the force earlier. I'm pretty sure it comes up later, so if it doesn't happen, I'll give it to you as a freebie, but I'm pretty sure it happens later.
That's my integrity. That's my character. Now's the time, my friend. I want to help you. She wants to help you. And I'm telling you, I'm going to help you. Anything I can do.
That was already
within
marked
my
as well.
power to
Now's the
be
time.
honest with you. I'm going to.
If we hear the word opportunity, or if they tell, because they've been dancing around the word opportunity, and also they already know the answers to a lot of the things they're asking. They're so close to that.
That's it. But I got to have the truth from you. I can't get it from somebody else. I can't get it from her. I can't get it from other people I work with. It's got to come from you. I already know.
I can't read it in the paper.
I'm telling you, I already know. I got a couple more years. I'll retire. I'm going to take my career with me and be happy with what I've done because I've been honest with it.
Close.
I'm asking you to be honest with me too.
Give me an honest career, Grant. Come on,
apart
goddamn
from the times maybe being wrong, I genuinely don't have anything else that I can say about what transpired during the nighttime.
I don't have the words.
So when you left your house, everybody was fine.
Yeah,
And when you left Cody,
everything was fine.
well, we got called to the house because Cody didn't show up.
Buckle up, everybody. Something's about to happen.
So
Click.
law enforcement goes over there, and can you tell us what we found?
She's got something in that folder she's about to whip out.
Mm.
What do you think we found? When
You
law
can enjoy that
enforcement arrived
silence
at your
as part of
home?
your buffer.
I mean, you guys are talking about guns and you're talking about other things that.
So the guns talk that was earlier in the fucking an hour ago in the conversation. It was about his gun collecting hobby, how he had collected a bunch, got in debt, got in legal trouble, had to sell them all. They never came up as aside from the mention of the shooting in the paper, the guns were strictly a hobby thing. So the fact is you guys are talking about guns, I'm pretty freaked out. You moron.
Hilgot says, I'm being honest with you. This bingo game is pretty fun. I can't begin to find the words to say it.
And then the website and everything that something happened to him.
Who's him?
Cody.
Doo-doo-doo.
I fucking cannot stand it. In so much footage. At least turn it on vibrate. God damn it. It's like fucking every police detective is like an out of touch dad walking into a movie theater with their phone on fucking max volume in that leather belt holster.
Well, and how many of these interrogations have we seen where the cop's like,
No.
I'll be honest with you, you are a lot more technologically savvy than I am.
The ego stroking thing just is part of the job, but
That should be on the
Do
bingo
anything
thing,
for your
like
mother?
their
No.
phone
Did
goes
you
off.
do anything for your
I've
father?
been toying with the idea.
You have any reason to believe that anybody else would harm them?
Come on, pull out the photos. Now, spoiler alert, I already told you about the photos. Imagine for a moment, in any context, anyone sitting across from you pulling out 3 glossy 8x10s, black and whites, of your murdered family, and just imagine even a fraction of how you would feel and react physically in the moment, and then hold that up against Grant as a barometer, and we'll touch base afterwards.
No, the only thing that I was told was that Cody would take care of it for me. And that's all that I know.
But you didn't tell
Cody
Cody what
murdered
your
my
father said
parents.
to you, correct?
Correct.
So when Cody made those comments to you, what do you believe he meant by that? Have you guys ever talked about?
Dumbass here. Story stupider than self-defense, because in the self-defense when he shot one of the people in the back, the one he's going to lean on, he's like, the last time I saw the family, Cody said that he was gonna take care of it, in those fucking bizarro nebulous terms. But the thing is, since Cody's dead too, and he was shot further away than his arm's length, this is a very stupid story.
That he was gonna. I thought he was just gonna do what he always does, which is where he just
Kill my
talks about it
parents.
and he figures out whatever strategy he needs to.
Basically,
If
cuts a
anything happened
check.
in the home to bring law enforcement there, what would you think happened?
That there was a shooting.
Between whom?
I don't know. Between Cody and my dad.
And why would you think that?
I'm
protect
hoping
me,
you
or
think
to help
that.
me or to do something with me.
Because of all the money I spent on that
You're
Bulgarian
telling
cam
me you
model.
did not shoot
Look at that
Cody
male
or your
cop.
father
He is
or your
like
mother?
on the edge of his seat wanting to just smack him.
Here's what I don't get. In a lot of these, when they do have evidence and or it is within a hair's breadth. And spoiler alert, they've got a lot of evidence against Grant here because he's been running around being a dipshit for several days, I think.
24 hours.
Like, why are we spending so much time being like, are you sure you don't know why? Wasn't there anything? Do you know it could like take a guess? Do you think like what do you think the sky was like that day? Or like the best interrogations I've seen are when the detectives come in, they're no bullshit. There's typically just one of them. They go, okay, tell me your story. Great, thanks. Now that that's all recorded in quadraphonic sound and video.
Here's the thing.
I've got this, and this. Do you want to change any of it? Yeah, here's another wild story. Okay, cool, thanks. Actually, here's 30% more evidence that was hiding from you that contradicts that story. How about that? And they go, shit. Wah. And then you have enough to be like, look, we have a perpetual liar. The evidence speaks for itself. And you fucking, go Kobe, and he rots in jail. What they're doing here is like, nothing. There's no reveal so far. There's like just, hey, are you sure? Do you think? Oh boy. When, again, they're sitting on juicy in the criminal justice sense, but like juicy evidence of like dead bodies that would definitely get a genuine reaction out of a human being if Grant is one.
No.
But it's not.
I mean, I don't know, like, what more I can say.
Well, when law enforcement arrived, that's what they found.
They were fucking dead, dude. And he's like, huh? Okay, you see that? Did you see that? That was his entire reaction to his family being dead. I'm going to recreate it for you. Did you like that? Is how you would react if you found out your whole family was murdered?
So you're the only outstanding child. You're the one that's been having problems with your dad. You're the one that we haven't been able to find for 2 days.
Your DNA's all over the goddamn crime
scene. Why would we
scene.
be questioning you about this?
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't.
Dude's phone is blowing up.
Which I'm sure it's his CO being like, do this, do that, because these people seem inexperienced, and that's the problem. Sometimes a case catches on fire, and more often than not, interrogators aren't like superhumanly good like Jim Smith and all of our favorites. They're just regular plebs like this who've gotten a minimal amount of training in the Reed technique, and then they go, come on, man, I can see it on your shoulders, and meanwhile the fucking perp is practically juggling. They're so unaffected by this shit.
Kale says, call the academy. We need to send an award for David's reaction. A recreation.
You're
sorry.
welcome.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't be saying like all like I don't know the way to. I don't know like what to even say.
Okay, sorry. The reason I stopped that earlier was that we essentially got a paraphrase of why do you think you're here, so we'll put that on the bingo. Why do you think you're here? Because she's essentially asked that already, like, hey, here's this, and this. Why do you fucking think you're here, Grant? I don't know. I think I like... My impression of him is turning more into Squidward, so I'm going to try and work on that for you.
We're trying to see if there's anything else that you've left out.
Like
During the
murdering
night
3
from
people.
When you first came home and confronted your father, or when he confronted you until the time you left, that you've not told us.
There was nothing.
I can't think of the words
there
for
was
nothing.
To that level of confrontation between him and I.
So if anything happened in the home, you believe?
I believe that because he probably shot him when he was walking through the kitchen and there wasn't any confrontation. So they could probably put his ass on the polygraph and he'd pass that question alone.
That would be
The rest would be dicey.
Yes. Because I don't have
the answers.
Access to anything.
Oh, damn.
See, I thought he shot all of them when they were walking into the house from being out at dinner or something.
No, that was a different case. That was Bart, what's his nuts?
Okay,
who
I'm
was
just
like a Chandler Holderson-esque. If memory serves, what happened was he killed his mom who was at the computer, His dad came home, he killed him, and then he texted his brother from either his or his dad's phone and shot him as soon as he came in the door.
Okay.
So like none of them had a chance. He just came and it was like pop, pop, pop.
Yeah.
You know what the news has said, correct? You know what the news has said.
I only know that first story that I saw, and then I didn't
For 20
look
seconds.
again.
And what did the first story say?
That there was a shooting in
My
the Salton
address.
Circle area, and the investigation is ongoing.
Okay, and what did they say? They say the status of the people inside the house? What did
No.
they say? Because all the news have reported the same thing. Every one of them. The sheriff has held a press conference.
If you're in the press, you're going to bury the lead like 3 dead bodies. What you're going to do is put that like, I don't know, second paragraph.
Yeah.
First thing you're going to talk about is like the place, the weather, like what you were wearing as you were riding the fucking
The sheriff has provided information to the media.
moron.
It's like in the area where you have to click to read
All the-
more.
What has happened in the home.
All that I saw was literally like the paragraph, and then the last sentence was there's an investigation ongoing, and
And
then I didn't.
you saw more because at Panera, when you said you pulled it up,
I gotta take this. It's
they,
Your fucking phone on
They,
silent.
had more information then.
Okay, just here's the thing. I'm sure you've been through some sort of training, through some sort of employment where like they talk about the evils of cell phones and how blah blah blah. And it's like all of that bullshit is true to a greater or lesser degree. It's a very disconnecting experience to interact with someone on their cell phone. Times that by 10 when someone's looking to disengage rather as hard as fucking possible, and you're on your goddamn phone because it's beeping and fucking ringing and chirping every 3.5 seconds. Like I would, like let's say I get pulled into something and I was guilty, like I murdered someone or like I dug a hole into a bank and pulled the millions of dollars out. I would fucking love for a detective to be on his phone the whole fucking time, because then I would just be like, oh, thank God. Like, this guy is fucking incompetent. Like, the good detectives, like, if I were going to do this, not that I would ever raise up through the ranks to get to this level, but I would go ahead and spend the fucking $15 to get an earpiece. So I'd be like, hey, instead of texting me, just talk to me.
right.
That way, I'll look committed to this like a professional, not like a fucking teenager waiting to get on the rink at Skateland, but you got to get on Instagram to post a few selfies. Take your fucking job serious and put your fucking phone away.
They had more information than just there's been a shooting. There's a lot more information was given. It was all over.
And get to the
news by that
fucking
time.
point,
The
please.
new news report exactly what had happened. We know that Cody didn't shoot your dad.
Mm-mm.
We know Cody didn't shoot your mom. We know Cody didn't shoot himself.
How's that feel, Grant?
And
Something.
you still haven't asked us the
That-
condition of them or anything.
That's because I'm
still freaking out over
I
here.
don't know what the normal proceedings are, but I
Proceedings.
Yeah, Grant's really trying to stay to decorum. He's like, I'm unsure socially when I should ask how and when my parents and brother were shot.
And why I'm
Normal
here.
proceedings are for you to be honest about
we-
what happened.
And then
This
we
is true.
help you understand everything that's going to go on from here on out of what our responsibilities are.
And we don't believe you're being honest. We feel
Nobody
that you
does.
are leaving something out about what happened in that home. And the evidence tells us what happened in the home. But you need to fill in the blanks.
Here's my hand for honesty. Here it is. We're here to
I want him to hold his
help you
hand.
do this.
Fucking shake
And you're
the
not
honesty
going to
hand.
like something here in just a minute. And
Here's
I know
some
it's gonna hurt
photos.
you, but you're leaving things out. You've got to take that step and cross over and say, okay, I have to tell you.
Take the honesty
you'd
hand.
probably
We'll
rather
walk
tell us
over
what
the
happened
honesty bridge
before
together, Grant.
Eva opens that up.
Grab a slice of
You
honesty.
probably
Za
want to
da.
save yourself some grief by saying, here, let me tell you. Here's what happened that night that I wasn't completely honest about. 'Cause honestly, Grant, I believe you've been honest about a very lot of
Honestly,
things.
Grant, I
really
think you've honestly been honest about honestly everything that you've honestly been honest about.
You're so honest.
But honestly, I think there's a little bit more honesty behind the honestness that you've been honestly honest about.
because I can account for your day. I can account for your night. We have a couple very small holes. 95% of the story I already know. That's why you're here with us.
Personally, one of my favorite techniques is the calm leading questions. When the detective just settles into, guess what? We're past did you or didn't you. We know you did. We know when it happened. We know what happened. We know blah, blah, blah. We just want to know why. And like really soak up that fatherly atmosphere. Or like, so many of these dudes are actually desperate to tell somebody who feels like they understand. When these two idiots are just like fast talking morons who are like, shake the honesty hand and come over the honesty bridge. And like, this is your time. This is the exact time. It's our opportunity. I'm going to go to an honest tomb after I have an honest career. I'm going to have an honest retirement. And it's just like, knock that shit off. There are some dudes who you need to word vomit at to keep them going when their mind is racing and you want to ramp it up to cause fatigue. Grant is a 0. It's like talking to a chalkboard with like a neutral face drawn on it. So talking fast, talking slow, appealing to ethics or morals or anything like that is just like spitting on the chalkboard. It doesn't care. It can't. Grant is, who knows what he is.
And again, your cell phone's going to put you in the areas, we're going to catch
Hello?
exactly where you were throughout the entire time you started this conversation.
No.
So if you went back to the house and did something or how long you were there, we're going to know.
No, I mean, I never did anything like that.
Just things like, Logan, remember I saw the digital footprint?
Yeah.
Your e-pass tells me where you went. We have a thing they're called LPRs, license plate readers, in different places all over everywhere.
Yeah,
Every
and
time
Florida
you
has
walk past
800
any car,
million
I look at that, I have
tolls,
somebody with
dumbass.
an intel girl
Welcome,
put in
RJ.
for guys,
Hey,
put in
RJ.
things.
Snake.
Hey, has this tag went by there? Yep. Has it been in a certain place? Yep. It tells me exactly where you went. Man, I'm telling you. I know it's hard to trust the police. I know people don't trust the police. You gotta give me the chance to.
Here's the thing though, like back in the old days, it was so much easier probably to call people on their bullshit. Like before everybody was tracked all the time and they did have like cameras on poles reading license plates for this, that, and the other for missing cars. Like you could say like, oh yeah, I'm going to call you on your bullshit, cop, because I don't think you have this, that, or the other. But now it's just a literal matter of like drawing up a warrant to like get access to the thing. And in a case like this, when obviously it's like fucking off the charts, importance wise, like nothing comes above murder typically. Like, it's not like Verizon's going to go like, no, we don't think so. We're going to keep these records. Like, and just hearing that must be soul crushing, but having to cling to that sinking ship.
Yeah.
My heart goes out to the people who, in whatever way it can, but like the people who finally just see the instrumental evidence and have the clarity to own up, because it is sort of vindicating, and they often do get off with lighter sentences. Like they'll find Jesus later in the can, but when you come out and you go, yeah, I did this, that, and the other, they go, oh my God, I can't believe it, but at least you were honest, and yada, yada, yada. But like, because that's the thing too, when you're a scumbag and you go into prison or any other of those ilk that run in those circles, respect and credibility are your only currency.
Right.
Like cigarettes, respect. Like if people talk down to you, you fucking take that personally, and you have to take that out in some form of payment that typically isn't money.
Yeah.
So like all the ones who come out and say, yeah, I did it, you got me, all this, that, and the other. Like I imagine they are able to cash a lot more checks that wouldn't be there for like a Grant who was like, oh no, I don't know what to tell you because I don't have the words.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. And it, like you said, sentences could be lighter, which would just be, a lot of times life with possibility of parole,
right,
as opposed to without.
Maybe
like
even
him.
beyond like the sentences in the criminal justice system. Like when you get to prison, that has to have some sort of credibility to you as a person, right?
Right.
I mean, like, there even among thieves, there must be a hierarchy based on this
Oh,
sort of
I'm sure, 'cause
currency.
It
It can, like, when the cops are telling you, hey, it can only help you, and you know you're balls deep in guilt, and they've got DNA and digital evidence to track you until you didn't exist as a fetus. Like, here's the thing, full disclosure, I would do that. I would jump in front of it. Like, the second I knew it was without a reasonable doubt, I would go, yeah, boom, 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 done. And then, you know, it'd be better off than not. I'm never going into the prison system, hopefully, but I bet it helps.
I'm sure you're totally right, because going in when you are pleading, when you've pled guilty versus pleading not guilty and still getting a guilty verdict and going to jail.
Oh yeah, he did kill a woman, so he's but he didn't kill any children, C&J Dev, so he's at least got that.
That's true.
That's even in, like, when you see interviews from, like, internal investigations. I watched one where a guy sexually assaulted his bunkmate because his bunkmate kept asking if he could blow him. So he's like, fine, I'm going to do this to you. Crap, I can't even remember. Yeah, but
damn.
That's the thing. You, like, prisoners, at least impressionistically, give off the feeling like that the people who go, I'm in here for, like, I was framed, get the same sort of shake of the head and, like, yeah, whatever bullshit that we do here watching these videos.
Didn't hurt any animals.
Yeah, no animals and no children. So at least he's got that. The woman thing, and especially his mom, because, like, I don't know what that currency is like, but, like, there was one where the guy, like, stuck his hand in his mom's brain after hitting it with a hammer a whole bunch of times.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the murderers also have mom issues, so that might not be a huge...
Then that's the thing, too. You go, okay, well, how gruesome does the murder have to be so now you carry clout of, like, leave me the fuck alone? Because if you're in that, obviously you're not going to think of it in the moment, but if you're planning it, like, and you obviously know now you're going to get caught, like, would you ramp up the gruesomeness of your crime to, like, get that, like, don't fuck with me
attitude?
Not attitude, but, like, reputation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you hear what this guy did? Let's not fuck with him. And you get at least that.
Well, we watched, what was the show we watched? Like Life on Death Row or Life on...
Probably.
In prison or something. And, like, some of these people were getting out, but, like, they had these, like, lavish for a prison cell thing and setup and stuff. And, like, a lot of people of them were, like, respected by the lower people.
Right,
it's a
but
crazy
that's the thing. Like, being a super respected rat in a jail, you know, a big rat maze, like, what is that? I guess it just depends on what level of the microscope you're looking at. Because, yeah, I just wonder how many are like Brooks in the Shawshank Redemption. You come out, you're so shell-shocked by reality, you just go, I can't do it.
Trust me. You have to.
These killers
know.
almost
I
never
know what
think
happened.
they'll actually be
I
caught.
know.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
95.
But that's the thing, though. Not to keep stopping the video, but, like, the statistics, like, between 3 and 6% of all criminal charges go to court. And, like, those are the only ones who will get caught. The amount of things that go unsolved and undetected, like, there's a bunch of competent people out there probably doing the things that Grant tried to do. We just get to laugh at the stupid ones because they're dumber than the people we send out to catch them. But there's people smarter than them who aren't getting caught. And that's chilling, so we like to think about stupid people like Grant here with his dumb head and ugly face.
Percent of the story, I know what happened. And so do you. And it's in your face, it's in your emotions, it's in your body language that something is severely, from the minute I met you in the hotel, severely bothering you.
Yeah,
and you
this
knew
is
why we were
playing
there.
to deaf
And we came
ears.
to see you. You knew why we were there. You knew it. And you knew what I was going to tell you at some point during the course of the day, what was going to happen. You already know because you checked on it. I know you've checked on it. There's a way to tell. I said that the best thing about the internet and electronics, they tell a story. And they tell how many times things have been looked at, what's been looked at, and how long you spent there. Sheriff can tell me every website I've ever been on this iPhone, every one, and how long I was there for. Every meme I made up to send to somebody something funny as a joke, they can see it.
Real quick, if you're familiar with this case, or even if you're not, there was a state senator named Jason, and his last name started with an R. He hit a guy with his car, and basically this whole thing that he just talked about proved what the fuck went on. Like, dude was reading a news article while driving, smashed into this dude and killed him, not instantly, But they were able to prove, like, yeah, we went right through your phone and got a second-by-second timeline. And yeah, you were looking down, you didn't touch the radio, none of this happened. You killed this dude, it's on you. Should everybody know that? Probably, because, like, it's the thing that happens so often. These 12 years of the... Oh, yeah. That's the thing. It's crazy that... we send people away and like, okay, pay your debt to society, and who is getting the benefit of that debt? Like, right, spend 50 years behind bars and you come out, you have no idea what a cell phone is or like what cars look like anymore, and then you go, okay, integrate back into society, and good luck. I'm
here to help you, man. I'm here to help you get through all this. I am an honest guy. I'm going to be honest, and when it's all said and done, I'm going to be honest to the very last day that I deal with you.
Honest to the bone. George Thorogood of honesty, this guy.
But I got to have you step over that little bit line. Basically, we got a line here.
Step over the honesty line,
you're so close to wanting to step over that line. You have come all the way from the back side of that table over to here.
And realistically, he hasn't. He hasn't moved a fucking inch.
No.
He hasn't admitted...
He's done nothing.
He's barely admitted to looking at the article. He won't even like, and I'm sorry, but like these detectives are just so fucking ham-fisted. Some people do it great, others not so much. These people just seem inexperienced, but just normal human nature, at least to me, that feels like it would be a common trait to read what's going on in the room and not like appeal to the things that are completely absent in this person until enough time and fatigue had set in. Like there are so many great interrogations where it's just this subtle back and forth until the first crack and then it all goes. And he is swinging for the fences, feeling like he's found a chink in his armor, but it always bounces off and hits himself in the head.
RJ wouldn't trust anybody that says I'm an honest guy.
Honestly, I didn't kill anybody. How many times have you said something to someone by prefacing with the word honestly that wasn't a lie? Not very often, I'd bet.
Now you're right about right here that you want to do it, but you're scared. I get that, my man. I get you're scared.
That's rough.
Mm-hmm.
But something happened there that kicked us off unlike anything that ever happened in your life.
Ever.
To get to where we are today.
Like, just fucking get to it.
What happened. Here's your brother, the guy who's always looked out for you, correct? Paid for your trip to Japan, paid bills. Your dad and your brother have paid $200,000 of this video chat, whatever, with the virtual, not the virtual, but the girl in Bulgaria.
She's not virtual. She's a real woman you never touch or see in real life.
I'm sure I'd be upset too. $200,000. Think of the car you can have for $200,000.
Or a house.
A house.
Some girl in Bulgaria got...
You can have fucking 5 mobile homes, and every time one got, like, dirty, you can move.
Imagine how much $200,000 is in Bulgarian money. And, like, she's probably...
17 zillion shekels or whatever.
Yeah, but happy if you take that $100,000 and paid off that program. But there's a lot of pressure on you. I get it. I need you to step over, man. You're right there. You're right there at the end, ready to go. We're ready to
one of those Asian places.
Take the information from you and move forward. We're there. I just need you to take that last step over and say, all right, let me tell you what else.
Last step over. Keep in mind, we have over an hour and 20 minutes of interrogation footage left.
The vast majority
so
of the
close,
let me
though,
tell you
Grant.
what actually happened that night.
I'm going to take my pen back, thanks.
When you're talking about the phones, because I'm illiterate when it comes to phones
Jesus
and Wi-Fi
Christ.
and all that. So you said when your dad cut off your phone a few days ago, you had no phone number, like no way to call, just pick up the phone and call someone, correct?
Right.
So when you would communicate on Twitter, like you said, either on your cell phone or your Surface, you would have to be connected to Wi-Fi. Is that correct?
Right.
Really quick, she brings up a Surface, which was a Microsoft tablet back in the day, but like, just to give you a little more context of like what a spoiled little brat asshole Grant is, when he was talking about throwing his stuff into a bag because his dad kicked him out because he was talking and giving more money to the Bulgarian whore after ruining the entire family. Ugh. He had like a fucking smartphone, an iPad, a Surface, a laptop, like every little gizmo and gadget that like a spoiled little fucking like your high school would pull out at the beginning of high school to be like, oh, look at me, I'm a rich little asshole. This dude had. Not that being rich is bad, but like if you surround yourself with technology, like little gizmos and gadgets like that, you look like a total douche.
When you were in the
Grant.
home, were you connected to Wi-Fi?
Switch it, Joe. Put
talking to
200,000 USD
You know,
to Bulgarian
Twitter
lev and
so
see
on
how
and
much
so
that
forth?
is.
Were you connected to the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi at your home?
Yes.
Both
No,
phones?
That's a
wait.
paddling.
That's a paddling. That's a
No,
shooting.
no, I wasn't. I was on the LT. I was on LTE. I was just on the cell service.
And you can still do the
That's a
Twitter
shit.
thing on cell service on
Right.
LTE at home?
Right.
Okay. And then when you are at
I wonder
the
how
public,
close that detective
Right.
gets to him.
you're on what?
That's on one.
Spoiler alert, he makes him role play later
Oh,
and
God.
he makes him switch chairs.
Fine.
Publix is Wi-Fi?
Right.
Okay. And then you said the next time was at Panera?
Yes.
Was on the Wi-Fi?
All these businesses
Both
must
cell
love
phone
when they
and
get
the
name
service.
dropped in these
Mhm.
murder
Just the
investigations.
surface. I
Panera, that sounds good.
The Panera was just on
Publix, the
surface.
place where murderers hang out.
All right. So again, with the whole digital footprint like Danny's talking about,
God damn it. The fucking digital footprint. The fucking digital footprint. She has photos. Play the fucking photos. How long do you want to chip it? Like, you know, when you, in the old comics and the guys that whip out the machine guns and shoot Superman, I would feel like I'm smart enough. I would be the henchman where, like, after the first 5 bullets, I'd be like, this isn't fucking working. These people are not that. They are emptying clip after clip of accusation bullets into Grant's pathetic caved-in Superman chest, and they're bouncing off, and they're just like not. Again, they're not reading the room. I can't believe how bad they are at just like reading simple human behavior. But you can't teach
you
that,
know
I guess.
that we will know exactly where you were at every
That's a
time
lot of
that you
live.
connected to Wi-Fi and how long you were connected to the Wi-Fi.
Oh,
You
phone call.
understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So when you drive away from the Publix or you're driving away from Panera, we will know all of that.
And every hot spot you hit along the way, it's going to ding. It's going to make that connection, even just for a brief second. And I'm very familiar with that area out there. I used to live out at 419 and 50, and I know just about where every hot spot is along the way. So it's going to be boom, 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 boom. I want to help you, man. I really do. But you've got to take that little step and
Take
and
the
trust
honesty
that we are
step,
going
Grant.
to do everything that we can do, and be honest with you. We're gonna do
But
it.
he's such a
But I need
pathetic
you-
little
I need
worm.
you to
What can
step
he
over.
do, right?
You have to, because what happens if you don't? You know, it's going to be something that we just can't do anything to deal with. We can't. Honestly, I've talked to people.
There are some people out there who are masterful circular talkers. They can talk you in and out of the Miranda rights. They can talk circles. They can say things that mean nothing that feel profound. Whereas everything this guy says, even if it has a point, feels like the Ouroboros. It just, even if he has a goal in mind of something he wants to say, the sentence eventually ends up eating its own tail. And then he's like, so Grant, how do you feel about that? And Grant's and then obviously Grant's like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? I'm having trouble following it. I'm not a murderer.
I talked to a guy
Not juiced up with
responsible for a lot of bad
murder
stuff in
hormones.
South America, and we sat down over the course of a month, and he finally admitted to some horrific.
Technically, RJ, yes, that is a tactic. Saying something, if you want to believe this, I don't know, psychologically, saying something repeatedly makes it more believable. So like murderers or whoever, criminals will repeat a certain story. And a lot of times the detectives will stomp out anything they know to be not true, because not only does repetition make things seem more believable, but it bolsters confidence. So they're using that in reverse here to no effect because, again, Grant is like fucking garden gnome piloting Jack Skellington's body with a little silly putty on it.
Horrific things.
And felt a lot
Because
better about
he
it,
did,
right?
Because he trusted us. Because he realized, the typical thing, the police, all they do is lie to you, or whatever. No, I'm not. I'm like that. I'm not negotiating either.
I'm going to the honesty grave with you, man.
The truth to be told, no matter which way it is.
And you will feel so much better.
I mean, look at
Talking
you,
about
Grant.
your
You're
family here.
simply suffering. You're Stephen McDanielsing all over the other side of that table. Come on, guy, loosen up with those shoulders.
So you telling us anything that we're missing, you're going to feel a lot better by telling us the truth.
Guaranteed. It's hard to take that leap of faith. It is. It's like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute. Yeah, if the parachute works the way it's supposed to, it's going to be okay.
Whip out the
But
goddamn photos, lady.
Got the papers.
First time I take it, I just got to take it.
Yeah, well, he was constantly throwing it away, C&J Dev. Like, he had the silver spoon and also, like, somehow the drive to become a nurse, and then beyond that, wanted to become an anesthesiologist nurse, which make, like, money. Him and his brother were going through nursing college together, and his brother was making six figures. His brother paid his legal bills. He paid $10,000 a pop for him and his three jackass buddies to go to Japan. Anytime he needed money, cell phone, food, anything, Cody would fit the bill. All he would have to do was do exactly as his brother did, and he would be he could throw his own money at fucking Sylvie. But
Right.
But no, he got like addicted to pills and he started stealing Michael Jackson's propofol from old people. And nothing was rock bottom until this. And even this wasn't rock bottom, just legally speaking. He has no moral compass or any sort of
Anything.
Like, but that's what happens when you can, like, these family annihilators. It just seems like murder for one person. We go, oh, they were murdered for $30 because it was a mugging in the street. Oh, the pities of human life. And then it goes to like this sort of extent where it's like the family is financially ruined for however many months, days, generations, years, I don't know. But can still bounce back. Like, sure, one's a fuck up, but you can still like knuckle down and break it in because, again, Cody was bringing in enough money to like support himself and Grant's constant fuck ups. So how hard would it have been for him to be like, oh yeah, I'll just do the thing my brother does and we'll both be rich? But no, he's a piece of shit.
You got to take that. You got to take that leap of faith with us. I can only do so much with honesty. Honesty.
So what are you not telling us?
Just tell us you
Everything.
murdered
What
them.
happened at that home that you know? Grant, I know you want to tell us.
It's on the tip of your tongue.
It's
I know
not.
It's right there.
It's
that
really
bad taste
not.
You
No.
want to get out, to get it off your chest and out of your head.
This is like two people trying to have a
But you
really
gotta do it. You
intense
can't
like
make me
intervention with their
I
pet
need
rock.
You to say it, so then we can move forward with the truth. Like I said, we're at 95, we're probably close to getting 97, 98% truth, but that last step you got to take. You gotta tell us. Because if when you say something, you get locked into a story, and it's proven to be false, then you got problems. Because what do people look at during the course of an investigation?
Hey, it's me, Cap,
Everybody
again,
who's honest,
going out for donuts.
Who was dishonest?
What kind of coffee do you want?
So there's an explanation to things. You have to explain them, and you're missing that 2, 3, 4, 5% of the truth that you're holding back. And that's the most crucial for you right now is the truth. Sounds crazy, but that's a fact. The truth shall set you free. Emotionally, you're probably going to break down because you've got this all pinned up.
Probably
inside
not.
you.
Yeah, look at you. Like you're fucking, you're barely holding on. Like you're biting your knuckle. Tears just welling up in your eyes.
We told you
Black.
your family all got
You
shot
don't say
and
it.
you put your head in your hands. You're
I get
obviously
it.
on the brink.
Again, I've talked to people that makes all this look like nothing. This whole investigation like nothing. They're just bad.
You ain't
And
shit,
once
bitch.
they get this off their chest, they say, I didn't think I would, but I feel better. I know it's tough, but I feel better. Because now I've told the rest of my story. You can't, it's like reading a book and getting almost to the end, the conclusion. and
She
you
is just
shut it.
itching for those pictures.
You gotta open up.
He's like, shut up.
You gotta open up to me, man. I mean,
Here's a little, word of the wise. Like, as a master craftsman of fine metaphors, they're pointless. Nobody ever gets them. Nobody cares about them. And 8 times out of 10, it's taken the exact opposite way of it. I intended, and I go, well, how about this? And I go, yeah, it is like that. And I go, wait, what was your interpretation? Totally backwards. Don't even bother. Like, just all the book, like, oh, it's like a book. You're reading it. You got to tell your story. Like, Grant is probably literally thinking right now, like, I don't know. I don't want to write a book. Like, that's for nerds. Like, he's such a fucking idiot. And metaphors are hard,
take that
apparently.
information from you to get you over this hump to a little peace in your mind. You'll never have peace without
You shall never know peace,
saying,
Grant.
Here, let me
This
tell
is
you.
exactly what happened.
And I already know. I'll be honest with you, I already know.
Then why are we doing this? Is why I keep screaming.
Two of us, 50 years, over 50 years, over 50 years.
There you go. They
Years
did
on
it.
the
I knew it was
force.
coming back. Years on the force. We have a cumulative 50 years on the force. So mark
They're
your
not
bingo cards.
Inexperienced.
Here's-
Maybe with this kind of interrogation.
I feel like a lot of, like, every time I see someone like this and they go, I got so many years on the force, like, I feel like the lion's share, if not the vast majority of that, was like as a beat cop. And they were eventually just like, fine, you can have a promotion.
I've seen
So
it.
what is it
It's
you
like a
need to
Twinkie
tell us
without the filling, you know what I mean?
that we're missing?
Step over.
I mean, the only thing that I know is just that,
I don't know anything.
I mean, I left the house later than what I had said.
Did you leave the house with your brother Cody looking like that?
There he is. He's dead.
Or did you leave the house with your father looking like that?
Dead in the
Or your
kitchen
mother?
at the computer.
Your
Is
mother.
that how you left your family?
No.
Look at that.
No.
No. No. Like, first of all, he looks like a ghost, so it's appropriate. He's now starting to sound like one.
Ooh.
But look at that shit. Imagine, like, I can't even imagine getting thrown 3 photos like that of people I am on bad terms with. Like, if someone were like, here are 3 people and they were all shot horribly and you know them, but you didn't really like them, I would still feel sick and be like, I don't want to look at these.
Yeah, no.
And Grant's like, oh, like, imagine the violent reaction now to a family member or loved one. And then here's Grant. Oh.
You know he's looking at those pictures from
Nobody else
like,
went into that house.
Who
under
left
his
your
hands.
family like this?
Yeah, look at him.
If you were the one that's been depressed, you were
Holy
the one that
fuck.
owes money, you were the one that got into a confrontation with your father. Who did this to your family?
Even the woman who fed multiple dudes to pigs had to turn over photos placed in front of her, and they were simply of like a desiccated leg bone. Like, at least pretend, Grant, you fucking idiot. Don't like breathe heavily as you like look at his face. He is staring now at his mother's dead body, of which he is the perpetrator of.
Yeah.
If you were trying to defend yourself or something else happened, we need to know now.
Yeah, if your mom
to
was
help you.
typing a scathing email and you had to shoot her in the back,
So tell us what happened, Grant.
that's liable, I said, and I shot her.
We're here to listen to you.
Grant, you need the truth. We're here to make this right. You got to tell the truth. It's on the tip of your tongue, my man. I get that.
I hope you
Did
enjoyed
your
that
father go
emotional
after you
outburst,
and
because
you
that's
try
all
to
you're going
protect
to get.
yourself?
No, I didn't do any of this.
I was waiting for the guy to get up and leave, slam the door.
There's something that's going to come.
I would be throwing up. Like, let's say I'm in Grant's position. I'm not the murderer, but like I got pulled in and somehow I got like farcically this far into the thing and they throw these things in. Like, projectile vomiting would probably occur and that lady detective's part would be full of just like taco meat and shit.
Up
Oh,
that
maybe pizza, depending on what I had.
is going to make
Yeah.
this all come real. I'd rather it come from you than have to do it that way.
I mean, it's already pretty
Yeah,
real.
but-
Pretty
Tell us what
fucking
happened.
real.
You
Here are
have
your
to tell
dead
them
family
what.
members.
They can't tell me what happened.
Fact I know. She never held a gun. She didn't have a gun that night.
She had a glass of
Fact.
wine.
He never fired a gun. Fact.
But he had a
never
gun.
fired a gun. Never did. This is the person right here, Mom, who always stuck up for you. Something happened so bad that caused her death, your dad's death, and Cody. And I'll tell you just about how it happened. 1, 2, 3. Based on evidence. Based on evidence.
Based
I know he
on
did not
evidence.
shoot your mom. I know he didn't shoot your dad. I know he didn't shoot himself.
So that whole thing where you're like, Cody will take care of it. You want to hammer that fucking nail into your coffin? You stupid bitch.
And I know from video surveillance camera in the neighborhood, nobody else came to that house.
He says, fact,
I know-
one more
I know I
time.
can count for everybody that went to
That's
the
a
house.
fact.
That's a fact. I'm going to check my phone
Tell
again.
us what happened.
I know it.
Let's check out my Candy Crush.
Listen to me. Hey, I know.
It's all notifications
Video
for games.
surveillance tells me everything that happened.
Look at this interaction. Again, tone deaf as always, but Grant is not reacting to it. He is like a husk. This must feel like, for the detective, what it must feel like to erect a scarecrow. Like, it's just like the weird wooden bones of the thing. And like, that's what his shoulder is feeling right now. It's
Yeah.
like a weird wooden, like maybe he feels splinters almost.
I'm telling you, of people that you'd be surprised who in your neighborhood has video. And I know that there's only 4 people was at this house during this time.
3 of them are dead and one of them is you.
Tell me. You got to tell me, man. You got to tell me. Get over that hoop. The video, if you're sitting there saying no.
The
Okay.
hoop, the line.
Yeah, here's the thing. Again, if you're not going to listen to me about the metaphor thing, at least take this advice and stay consistent. If you're going to be in front of a person for a extended period of time, don't jump from tea to sandwiches to lines to hoops to honesty bridges and all this other bullshit. Try and pick a theme that you're familiar with and can pull more than one sort of example from, so you don't seem like someone who has zero skill floundering in front of a person with zero empathy that you are appealing to on the grounds of literally nothing.
No. And video shows something else. Guess what? Big problem. Because it will wind up later on that you can't get any help from anybody. A lot of this, what people make decisions on, is honesty. Was somebody honest? Of course you're going to be somewhat dishonest at some point. We get that. We understand that. But at some point when you have that come to Jesus time that now I need to really, I got to tell
I
you
need
what
to
happened.
knuckle down on
This
that
is it.
honesty.
This is it. Video tells me everything I need to know about this from the neighborhood.
And you're the only one left to tell us.
I know it's hard to look at me, Grant. Look at my eyes. I know it's tough, man. I do.
Just really quick, I don't see this very often, but how hard would it be? Because a lot of these interrogations should, if done properly, be somewhat orchestrated behind the scenes. And it always boggles my mind that when they have as much evidence, especially as they have on Grant, why not build the hypothetical narrative and walk them through it?
Yeah.
Just like sometimes you see in the movies, they say, don't say a word, let me just tell you what's up. And like, it doesn't have to be as dramatic as all that. But when you've got as much on someone as you have on this person, or even if you're willing to bet, give us, and by us, I mean the viewers, but also yourself, the leg up of like, here's what we can prove, and say, video has you here, you made contact here, we have proof of that with this, that, and the other. And I realize they want to keep some of that close to the vest, but in a lot of these cases, since a lot of what we see are going to be slam dunks from morons, you can hold back a fairly large amount of evidence and still craft a narrative
Yeah.
that even Grant can understand.
Right. Here's what I think happened.
And he's
Blah, blah, blah.
stupid.
It's a tough thing to say, but we need to know what caused things at your house that night to become so bad that we're this. He's violent. We know that. He's got a gun on. We get it. Cody just probably ran around, or went around with a gun because he normally did. He walked in the house and was shot the minute he walked in the house.
The minute.
The minute he walked in. We see trajectory, we find the projectile, we've got everything on that. He's shot over here and is brought over here. See it over there. We found the bullets in the house. Mom's sitting her thing with a glass of wine, doing her thing, and she's shot. You just got to step over and tell me, man. I want to help you. I do.
The evidence is going to be there.
Just cross the honesty
people I
bridge.
We have
would-
cartridge cases, we have projectiles.
And fingerprints.
So you just need to tell us what led up to this.
You've been arrested, correct?
Yeah.
So we have your fingerprints, correct? You understand that? Physical evidence.
So here's the thing, RJ. Speaking to what you said, the Holy Grail will probably forever be the confession in law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about it that even though now beyond certain, like, because sure, a circumstantial case can be strong, but a confession will clinch it. But now we have so many things that, maybe cell phone data could be circumstantial, but when the circumstantial evidence is insurmountable, and then we throw on things like DNA and fingerprints and yada, 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 it just feels like we're wasting a lot of time here with Grant when for some reason motive is what gets people all juiced up, at least in this context. Like if I had a slam dunk case and I were a cop like this, I would do exactly as I said. I would pull my bullshit. I would do my thing. I'd do the story thing back and forth. I would walk him through the narrative of what I could absolutely prove beyond a reasonable doubt to 12 more or less mush heads, because you have to account for stupidity. And I'd be like, if you want to tell me what's up, let's hear it. If not, deuces, I'm going to get a chicken mix sandwich and a whatever. But here we are being like the honesty loop and the bridge and the yada, yada, yada.
Something I can't
Just cross that
manipulate.
honesty
Either
What's that
wormhole.
motive?
Didn't fire a gun, didn't fire a gun, didn't fire a gun. None of them did.
Cross through the honesty
Or did
singularity.
your father point a gun at you?
No, there's nothing else that I can say.
Then this is not going to end up the way you want to with what you're.
Like Grant's repeated use of the variations of, I don't know what else I can tell you, there's nothing more I can say, blah, blah, blah. It's almost as absurd as like all the English cases I see where like here in America and in Canada, if you don't want to answer something, you don't say anything, you say I don't want to answer. But like in the UK, if you don't answer something, you say no comment. And those two words feel so damning, even though we're obviously supposed to, as a rational society, be like, no comment, can't be weighed. But when you're watching a piece of footage like this and their arms are crossed and they got a sour puss on, and they go, hey, we found your fingerprints and skin cells on this murder victim that was blah, blah, blah. What do you have to say about it? No comment. Okay, cool. Yeah, the jury's going to love that shit, bitch.
Right now.
I know I would if I were on the jury.
Factual items do not support what you're saying. Nothing we can make up, or I think, or she thinks, or whoever thinks. You got to be honest.
It takes a
And
steel
the minute
resolve
you
to
start
stare into the
being
face of all
completely
this
honest,
and go,
you're pretty honest, I'm not
no.
going to say you're not. The minute you tell us what happened to get this to here is the second that we start moving forward with healing.
Your arrest.
And you know what's crazy? Speaking of like the stuff I cut off of Grant here, a channel out there just got like the footage of Stephen McDaniels before he goes zombie. It's in the same room. It's like 2 hours or something worth of it, where he's a normal-ish acting person. And it's not until like when Mark Twitchell, where the guy goes, Mark, this is bullshit, and you blah, blah, blah. And that's like when it dies.
Yeah.
He was not a zombie up until that point.
Right.
Grant just went from slightly animated to slightly less animated now, but nothing really
You say you
changed.
can't something?
No.
Yes, you can. There's something that you have done that proves different. I'm telling you. I don't know how else I can't make it any clearer. There's something there. Just tell me. Tell me. Your emotions, your demeanor, your body language, your eyes, tell me everything I need to see about you.
Yeah, you're a weirdo.
A normal, rational human being, aka myself, maybe that's an overstatement, I don't know. But when I look at Grant, I see a sickly insect, like a stick insect, like stress from a big move, like maybe they're going to a reptile show and someone's hoping to make $30 off of them. That's Grant right now. So the fact that this detective can be like, I can see it, you're welling with emotion, like you're obviously a very caring and loving individual, the Mother Teresa of the Amato family, like I wish it were like a little more absurd and then it would be funny, but right now it just feels so stupid.
Yeah.
You want to tell me in the worst way, you want to get this pain off your chest. Do it.
Big old
Come
pain you
forward,
feel.
man. Tell the
Grant,
truth.
look at you.
It's like going to church and doing your confessional. When I go to church, the few times I go a year and I get up there and ask for forgiveness, I feel 100% better.
This guy is such a fucking half-ass.
He only goes a few times a year to church.
Yeah, like, okay, so this is just a reoccurrence of his, like, middle-of-the-road bullshit, where he's like, I'm not in love with you, Grant, but I don't hate you. He's like, hey, man, when the devout Christians go and talk about their sins, not me so much, I gotta go a couple times a year, but when I do go, I'm really into it. Like Christmas and Easter, I'm religious as fuck, dog. Every other day, I'm like, I don't give a shit.
For all
Whatever.
the crappy things I've done and didn't do what I should have done throughout the course of the year.
But that's like this guy in a nutshell. He's like a solid 5 on the Richter scale. There's nothing interesting about him. He can't keep his metaphors straight. He's just like, hey, man, sometimes I go to church and you might want to too. But did you murder him? Come on, Grant.
Short with my coworkers, short with my kids, not living the way I should live. Gets me too. And when
Caden, put away those trucks. Sorry I blew up like
I go
that.
up there and make my concession to the pastor, it makes me feel better.
Sometimes he remembers my name even.
I mean, there's just nothing else that I can say.
CNJ Dev says, I'm not particularly religious. I hope
There's
God
nothing else.
exists, but I stopped pretending I knew for sure years ago.
I feel like everybody does.
Yeah.
happened in that home while you were there that would lead up to that?
No,
Not
Father
this guy.
didn't point a gun at you.
there was nothing else more than what I had said.
Then who do you think did this?
His eggs are ready to harvest at his farm. He wants this shit to get over with.
I don't have the answer.
I don't have the answers. Keep in mind, I realize that since this is grainy footage and you can't really see what's going on, those are still live action shots of his dead family staring up at him that he's been looking at sporadically with no emotional trigger or reaction at all.
He tried to cry for a second.
But he, like, as the seconds tick on, and it just
Oh, yeah,
becomes
no.
part of the, like, it's just becomes part of the room. Like, it's as if it was innocuous as the chair in the corner. But these are the pictures of 3 corpses that used to be the people who solely supported him for being an absolute leech.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't have. I couldn't do that.
I'll give you a few minutes to think about this. And think about
Maybe pull your head out of your ass, Grant. Like, seriously, dude.
and where do we go from here. Want a few minutes to collect your thoughts?
Yeah.
Give you a few minutes.
He doesn't have any thoughts.
Okay, so I'm going to call that, because they're so sparse, the what happens next / now. I don't care who says it. Sometimes the perp asks what happens next. Sometimes the cops will say, are you curious about what happens next? That just happened, so mark it off. I don't think he's mentally disconnected. I think he's just trying to pull bullshit that has worked his entire life. Because when you spend your entire life, like, I can't imagine being in a position where I would be allowed, like, it would just slip by that $200,000 go through my fingers to a Bulgarian cam model. The fact that that situation exists means, like, there was a problem, there was a hole in the ship nobody wanted to patch. Like, so he's just doing what he did all the time, like, just pout, and eventually someone will just stop caring. The person, you know, annoyed will stop caring, and he'll just, like, the money will start flowing back in. Think about what you did, Grant, you piece of shit.
You're in timeout.
Do you need a drink or anything, Grant?
No.
Want some cookies? Then she kicked the damn rabbit, is what I keep thinking.
Do you want to see those photos again, Grant?
So anyway, here are the murder scene photos. Let's see. There's your dad, your mom, your brother.
$200,000 is not $200, Grant.
Throw a picture of Sylvie up there too. Like, start fucking with him. Like, at this point,
She's very disappointed
try
in you.
anything.
That's true. Wouldn't she want you to tell the truth?
Because, like, they're not. What you want to do is what it feels like to me is you're looking around a rock face for something loose that you can pry out, right? And there are some great examples out there, like Colonel Russell Williams. They found that his wife was his wiggle point and was able to pop him like a barnacle off of a pier because he goes, "Oh, not my wife," blah, 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 blah. Talk about, like, the family was going nowhere. Talk about Sylvie. Talk about other people in this situation that you can get a one-up. Obviously, he has no care for his fucking family. Talk about Sylvie. But they, like, exclusively ignore her.
Right.
Because the murders were done in service of her, essentially. She could flick the bean so great that it ended in a triple homicide. And they're not being like, what is she going to think about this? What about that? Like, grind some salt into that shit. But no, it's just like, we're still on the honesty bridge trying to, like, get to the honesty Madison County to take a bath.
Well, even if it's not her, he has another brother who has no family now either.
Yeah, he shows up later in this interview that we're probably not going to get to because it's so long. But yeah, he's like, what the fuck, dude? I'm pretty sure you did it, but if you didn't, I'll eat my words. But it feels like you did.
Right, because who else would it be?
See, I think this is finally an effective use of silence.
Well, their captain probably said, just go in there and sit. Stop talking.
Yeah, like, shut the fuck up for 10 fucking minutes. Like the Holtzclaw detectives. I think they are incompetent.
I love the pictures just kind of fell out a little bit of her.
Yeah, because, like, imagine being Grant now. They've shut up. Neither of them seem to have any interest in him, but he can't go anywhere yet.
And, like, even if he was quote-unquote free to leave, how is he going to get out?
Exactly. But he's not free to leave.
No.
I think they pulled him in, like...
Yeah, no, they...
Because after this, they strip his ass, too. Oh, just... There he is.
In the same position.
Just McDanielsing himself into a statue.
Oh, my God, he's, like, observing the pictures. Ugh.
Look at that shit. These are your fucking... like...
Not gonna lie, I don't know how police officers do it. I don't know how, like him, just looking at a bunch of dead bodies, like nothing. Like what? How? Like you have to be like mentally
like
checked
anything,
out.
you just build up a tolerance. You have
I
to.
guess.
Some people have to slip in slowly, and some people you can just jump right in. But like anything, you can build a tolerance up to
Yeah.
it. Not something anybody would like necessarily envy, and those who do probably are weird. But
You can have that. You
what
can-
do you think about that, Grant? Say hello to your mom. There's your fucking dad. And here's your brother who came home from work in his scrubs and you shot him and his lunchbox hit the floor. You feel good about that, Grant?
Ugh.
There's your dad's fucking legs. Anyway, back on Facebook.
Gotta harvest my wheat.
You know, the only thing that I have
That's
is
me.
just,
Saw pics of dead bodies.
times in which
Lol.
I had left the house. You know, there was still there was an argument when Cody had gotten home, and then there was nothing that he could do to help me. So I don't remember the exact time when I actually left, but I had left.
That weak ass Chihuahua piss story that he could barely get out past his lips. Again, not to belabor the point, but the detective said he didn't shoot a gun, he didn't shoot a gun, she didn't shoot a gun, and you left and none of them shot a gun.
Later than what I had said.
So you were home when Cody got home.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
I shot him in the head because
What time did he
I'm a
get home?
fucking
And why did
idiot.
he come home?
they paid for his
He got
rehab
home
too.
I think like 10:30. I still think that's when he got home.
Mm-hmm.
Strong agree. C and J Dev. These two are, and it's sad that it's oftentimes more often this is what we get. Like we can't all get what's his name from the Federico Gondola case. Like the what I want to do it eventually is the Nathaniel Schimmel case. That detective is like his heart's in it, but fuck, he's bad.
Was
This
like a
woman
doctor's
reminds me
attorney.
of like a not funny Paget
I
Brewster.
don't know why he was able to leave early.
And what was going on at the house when he arrived?
My dad and my mom were arguing, and then I was still just packing up all my stuff, or gathering the things that I could gather.
Because I was getting kicked out for
Um,
spending a lot of money.
and then when Cody got home, he started to transgress with my dad, and I was still kind of just staying out of it and doing my own thing.
Transgress.
Like,
And then the end result was still the end result, and then I had to still leave.
how fucking absurd.
And then, so is it true that you still met Cody up the block, or was that,
No.
so you didn't meet him up the block? So why did you tell us that?
I don't know.
Alright, so then, now let's start from the time you and your father started having the argument, about 6:30 you said, when he got home?
Yeah.
Tell us exactly what happened from that
This
time on.
fucking guy and his phone.
Even what was said.
I mean, it was just
Seriously.
a lot of yelling. I mean, it was everything that he had been telling me for the past months and months and months about just how I had ruined his retirement and how I had pushed him back, and now
Because I totally did.
Personal opinion, he's finally opening up. What are we, fucking 2 hours and 43 minutes in? Finally, a little give. He's not admitting to anything violent happening, but he's sowing the tiniest seeds of, yeah, there was an argument. I was mostly keeping to myself, and Cody was doing his thing. But, like, you know those kids who will, like, when they go to the beach, takes them fucking 40 minutes to get in past their nutsack because it has to go 1 centimeter at a time. Like, this is that to a T, and it is frustrating to watch. Not only because Grant doesn't want to go in the water, but these two detectives are more or less plastic bags filled with sand clipped to his bathing suit, keeping him from the water.
Yeah.
never be able to do the things that he wanted to do because I had saddled him with a lot more expenses, and that I had told him that
Like,
once
just
I could
to
get a job,
jerk it,
then
man.
I had plans to
$200,000.
make amends for the things that I had caused for everybody.
And he's yelling.
Yeah,
He's heated. Are you yelling back at him?
no, I had never yelled at my dad.
That I buy. He's
And are
probably
you
too much
sitting
of a
on the couch
pussy.
Yeah.
downstairs, like you said?
I was in the living room, yeah.
And at what point does he put his hands on you?
It's just, it's like maybe 5 minutes into the conversation. There wasn't really anything that was a trigger.
I mean, that is a strange question because if like I was yelling with somebody and then they grabbed me, I wouldn't be like, here's a timestamp of when they hit me.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, all of these questions may seem superfluous, and with these two knuckleheads, a lot of them are. But when you're trying to nail down a timeline that you're trying to poke holes in it, sorry, Jill.
Oh, Jill.
But if you try to nail down a timeline to poke holes in it, the more specific you can get, the better. And yeah, if you're living through a situation, nobody is going to take notice of seconds, minutes, or hours passing.
Right.
Every second is going to feel like an hour if you're all juiced up on adrenaline.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you can go, I don't know, we had an argument, and roughly 5 minutes and 13 seconds in, he placed his hands upon my body and shook me violently.
I mean, I had always been passive, so I mean, I didn't
Really?
I didn't fight back or anything like that. I just tried to get my grounding, and then
I want to go through the
then
fucking
we were
computer and rip this guy's phone and throw it out of the room.
continued on.
Like,
And then
Like, is this supposed to
then
be a
after
tactic
that,
too? Is the phone thing a thing?
it sometimes can be used, but it's so not here that, like, these are just two incompetent detectives. Like, I feel like, I've said this before, but I feel like when you've got an overwhelming amount of evidence, you keep the good, like, varsity detectives doing their thing. And when someone like Grant waltzes in and can be crushed under a Mount Everest of evidence, both circumstantial, physical, DNA, and all the other in between, you're sending these two idiots to be like, hey, can you get a motive out of them? If you can't, whatever, it's golden time. So yeah, they'll spend 4 hours being like, honesty, Grant, the honest tree was cut down to make honest boards, and those honest boards made an honest bridge. And I'm offering you an honest hand so we can cross the honesty bridge to play in the honesty meadow and drink from the honesty spring. And together we'll live happily in Honesty Lane.
I started the whole process of
Oh god, he's getting closer.
gathering everything.
And where's your mom at this point?
She was still
Dead.
in her office.
Did she intervene at all?
She had gotten up to say that, you know, like you need to settle down, or you know some sort of.
You boys need to settle down. I'm going to take my
wine.
wine back to the computer. Don't shoot me in the back.
I gotta
What?
check my emails.
And then she just
Fucking-
went back into there.
Okay. And then what? What happened next?
Oh, excuse me. There we go.
I got a tweet.
I mean, then it was just like it was just a lot of it was just a lot of yelling and confrontation between me and Dad, but
Dude, your family
it
is
wasn't anything
dead.
more physical.
Yeah,
about
What's
it.
going on?
And like I said, I was just going.
Just push that
up and
closer.
about,
Straight. I'm making a collage.
getting stuff and taking out to my car.
How
and
long have those
getting
pictures
back
been
whenever
face
I
up on the
could-
table?
whatever I could
Since
gather.
they came back.
Years at this point.
Yeah.
Like fucking, it must be 15 minutes grand total because they were out. He stared at them for God knows how long. They had to take a shit break and talk to their captain and come back. And yeah, they're just sitting there.
Mr. Burns. No, it was
Mr. Burns.
Kind of like Cyrax is what CNJ
Yeah,
does
like
said.
a less malformed Cyrax.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, Mr. Burns, good. Yeah. It's
Totally.
like working class Mr. Burns.
Yep.
There.
And what'd your dad do while you were doing that?
Excellent.
He was just following me around.
He's Monty
Making
Burns.
sure you were
and
gathering stuff
Mr.
to get
Burns.
out.
My possessions and not taking anything of his.
If Vic Mac
And how long did that go on before Cody shows up?
I mean, that was like for 4 hours or something like that.
I texted
So
him.
you did that for 3 hours,
Yeah,
gathering your stuff.
and dealing with Dad, and because it wasn't just like
So just
he wouldn't.
pack up those.
Yeah, the detective is like, interrogation right now. Fucking, what do you think I should be asking? And his phone's blown up. He's like, oh, so did you
The 2 little bags you brought.
need honesty metaphors ASAP? Send. This fucking dude.
3 hours.
Yeah, he wouldn't just. I mean, I went onto my computer to.
What I want to be is an honesty lizard, and that you and me can both be honesty lizards eating the flies of lies. Can you help me with that, Grant? Let's lose our lying tails to become honesty lizards. No? Okay, scroll. Fuck.
Put some stuff onto like some flash drives and I mean all that other stuff, but it wasn't just like with him where I could just go and do my thing. You know, I mean, he would stop me and then we would talk for like an extended period of time, and then I would start to do my thing again, and then it would stop.
Unbelievable that less than 15 minutes ago, he not only found out that his family was entirely dead. But shortly thereafter, he'd be staring at their photos for going on years now. Look at him. Seems to have pulled himself together pretty well.
Oh yeah, CJ Dev. I'm sure they're not. They came back from having left to take a poop. They came back and they just completely ignored him, didn't speak to him.
Well, I think that was an intentional tactic,
Yeah.
albeit misguided. Like, these people are so, like... I don't know what the training on the read technique is, but I've seen it used both well and terribly so often that I could probably give a refresher course. But these people just seem to be like... Because I feel like the training would be like, use this to its fullest extent. Use every facet of it and then move on. Don't try this. If it doesn't work immediately, move to this and this.
Right.
And then move through the circle so you look like a fucking rotating lawn ornament.
Could you imagine the supervisor reviewing the tape thinking, man, I could have broke this idiot in 15 minutes. How did it take this hours?
Seriously,
4
like-
hours.
You know how when they say, oh, when you call someone up and they go, oh, your call may be monitored for in-service, in-house customer quality. And, the managers have to review it. Like, I guarantee this footage made it to the monthly meeting where the donuts and the coffee were passed out. Like, here's what not to do. And the one guy who's really good with the grease, slick back hair and the nice suit, he's like, fucking amateur, and he just takes a nap for the
Have they gotten to the sex
Was
worker
your
yet?
father wearing this?
sex worker.
Yeah.
And what about that gun on
She's
his
a
waist?
what do you
She's
call
a
her? A cyber model, cam model,
whatever you want. Yeah, they talked about her, but yeah, you're right, Jill. I said earlier they need to fucking bring her up and use her as an angle, but they don't bring her up at all.
It's crazy.
They just keep hammering away where nails aren't.
He didn't have that on.
No.
Is this normal?
No. I mean, I hadn't seen him.
Why are your bloody fingerprints on the inside of his belt, Grant?
Since,
Well, I don't have the
High school.
answers.
They were
He doesn't
planted
walk around
there.
like this normally.
no.
Why do you think he would be like this?
I don't know if it's because of what he had told me that if I came back that he would kill me.
I mean, like you said, you're afraid of him.
Yeah.
But we're here to this. This is the person.
Seriously, I'm saying, talk about her. Be like, hey, guess what? What would Sylvie think? What if we told her that you were a murderer? If we asked her if you were a murderer, would she... the one thing he fucking cared about was his relationship between the three-way triangle between Sylvie, his hand, and his member.
Mm-hmm.
Play on that. But no, they're just like, hey, your family gave you a bunch of money and basically bankrolled your entire failure of a life. What's up with that? He's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. So what, bitch? I killed them for it. I don't give a fuck. Talk about Sylvie.
Problems for you, or came home to solve the problems. There's the one who always sticks up for you, including talking to the girl. She talked to the girl in Bulgaria, didn't she?
Yeah.
She
Oh, how embarrassing.
You're not a bad guy. And, how
Hi, I'm Grant's mom. I understand you're the woman he pays for nudity across the ocean. How did that conversation go?
Facts. We are here, but we
Facts.
want to be here.
here's
Facts.
the problem.
This person is dead. Fact.
This one's behind you, supports you. That one's behind you, supports you. This one, I'm sure, cares about you, but is upset. Because, like you said, you have ruined his plans for retirement, so he can't retire because of the financial loss.
Yeah, imagine finding out at 65 that everything you'd been saving from when you were 30 on was gone. And it wasn't like your son had a drug habit or someone stole it and they're like, there's a Corvette out there, a fleet of Corvettes out there with your name on it fraudulently. Nope. Literally, $200,000 was burned repeatedly on a 6-inch motion. You know what I mean? I'm being generous.
I was
with
gonna
6
say, I think
inches.
you're probably being generous.
Probably 5 1/4.
Oh,
Mr. Burns one down for the Bulgarian cam model.
$60?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess.
Dad gave you how much?
Like Mom,
100,000.
Give you how much?
it's like 30,000 or something.
So around 200,000.
He drops these numbers as if they are completely meaningless. And whatever, like, I get yada yada, let's split hairs about this, that, or the other. I have never seen or touched or even imagined coming across $30,000 at a whack.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be like, yeah, he, 100 grand just slipped through my fingers like water so I could yank it. You're not a monster, Grant.
6 centimeters.
Yeah.
So they're upset. I get that.
It's just an innie.
But we know he didn't fire a gun. We know she didn't fire a gun. We know he didn't fire a gun. He shot the second he walks in the house.
At what point does he come into the house?
It's like 10:30.
And where
That's the other thing they've stated with a confidence. He died the second he walks in the house, right? That has come up multiple times. Whereas Grant's story to this present moment was he was fighting with his dad, Grant came in, and they were fighting, and then he fucked off, and everybody was alive. Cody came in, yeah. Well, the detective's like, died the second he fucking stepped in there.
Yeah.
Second.
And he also said that he met him at the hotel or whatever afterward, too.
does he enter?
Through the garage,
Where does he park his car?
under the awning thing.
Outside, not in the garage?
Right.
So do you see him walk in? Or hear him come in?
No.
So you're upstairs?
My ears are still
maybe, or
ringing from the
where are
first
you when he came
gunshots.
home?
When
I mean, nothing.
He came
No.
home, I was doing.
Was sleepy.
I was gathering some of the
My dad.
my power bars into my little shoulder satchel thing
And where are the power bars, in the kitchen, or?
in the kitchen.
So you see him come in?
I hear the door, but then that's it.
And then when do you see him
I
physically?
I see him when he walks into the kitchen.
And what do you guys, what is said?
Every word he says feels like squeezing a popped zit in my brain. Like there's nothing more you can gain from it, but you keep doing it. And I'm just like, and for no other fault than these detectives are just like, neither of them have the balls to be like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's such a soft sell even at this point. Like, the dead body pictures are on the table.
Right.
And we're still like, so what happened that night? You left a little later than you thought? Oh, yeah. Like, that's what I would say. If I were lying and they threw the dead body pictures on there, I'd go, all right, you got me. I left 15 minutes later.
He asked me what I'm doing, and I basically tell him the quick, short story.
Basically.
Because at the time, my dad and my mom were talking.
Where were they?
They were in her office.
Okay, and what is the short story you tell
That
Cody?
that dad caught me still talking to the girl that had caused all the
The
problems.
girl.
And that he was kicking
He
me out of
is
the
so
house
embarrassed. He won't
because
even
I had
say
broken
her
his rules.
name. Like, God
Did you
damn
tell
it.
Cody that he threatened to kill you if you came back home?
No, I still didn't tell Cody about that. I had told Cody previously when I went to Cornerstone that that's what Dad was going to do if I had made any more mistakes, not the specific one that I had caused, but if I had made any more mistakes. And then Cody told me that.
Not the
he was
specific
going to do
mistake, but
that
if I expanded
when I
my
went
mistakes
to
into
fight
other
off him
fields.
before they
Yeah, Jill, he was
officially
emotional
dropped
for
me off.
like 0.2
So you
seconds.
went to Cornerstone.
And that
So
was
your
even
dad
fake.
had told you in the past before that he would kill
It
you.
is RJ.
Right.
For what reason?
For if I basically did anything related to this, again, costing him a lot of money.
Yeah, he told me that if I ever gained access illegally to his bank accounts again and drained him literally dry, he'd kick me out. Seems like a light punishment.
Right.
And Cody knew about that.
Right. He just didn't know about
So that's the thing. That's what makes this even stupider, right? Because it wasn't like a divorce, murder or slang or whatever where the spouse is killed, so all the money is theirs. Grant's case is this. The money is all gone. 200 large plus gone. So it's not like his family was expecting that to be paid back. They'd been burning money on him like they were living in Siberia and it was the only way to keep warm his entire life. So it's not like he killed them to skirt a debt. It's not like he killed them to save face, because the Bulgarian cam model was already well known to all and sundry.
Mm-hmm.
When you boil it down, none of those things were the motive. The motive was he had to move into his own place at 31, 29, whatever the fuck he is.
Mm-hmm.
Could not stop spending on an Eastern European sex worker. Not a problem. Won't kill my parents over that. I've got to get a studio apartment. Mowing him down.
It's crazy.
Wasn't the money. He already spent the
whether or
money.
not he
RJ wants to know, when does the detective
knew
cuddle with Grant, because he keeps getting
how much
closer to
paid
him.
for my dad.
We're probably not going to get to it because I'm probably about to call it. But at some point he goes, Grant, step over here to our side of the table, man. Like it's his like last gasp at whatever he's trying to do. He makes him sit in this chair here, pulls it closer, and he goes, now look at it like we're looking at it. How would you solve it? And can you guess what Grant says? He goes, I have nothing else I can tell you.
Nice.
Even when his brother comes in, his brother's like, hey, man, like, what the fuck? It all looks like you did it. You can't live with us. You fucked our family. He talks about Cody. He was getting all these calls, and like Cody had organs that could have been used, but he couldn't give because he didn't have the authority or this, that, or the other. And it's just like this, like, put the detective emotional appeals on the back burner, right? Because there's no family connection, so it must be easier for people to disconnect from strangers. His brother came in and laid it on so thick, like it chokes me up sometimes when I watch it, because he's standing across the table from the last bit of his family left alive that killed the other part that was.
Right.
And he's in that no man's land of not knowing for sure, but being pretty sure. And there's Grant like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I just don't. Fucking Chris Watts 1.5 here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this town is, like, this house is a ghost town. Like, fucking Grant. My hotel is a ghost town since I killed my parents and I can't go back to my house. Yeah, utterly sad. And then, like, again, I'm going to recommend you get into this case for all the stuff because there's so much I can't touch upon. But there's footage out there of his brother, his surviving half-brother, like on the stand giving testimony and all this stuff. And it's just like, again, the money wasn't coming back. They didn't expect it. His reputation was already in ruins. He was simply killing 3 members of his family because they made him move out of the house.
Yeah.
And then, like, then you want to go, okay, what was the plan? So you killed the people who've been bankrolling you that I guarantee if you would have waited it out, your brother would have started trickling money back into you. So would your mom. You came from a family of fucking deep-seated enablers. You would have been fine because you'd spent 30 balding years of your life sailing through on their dime.
Yeah.
But
and if he got his shit together, he probably, if his nursing license wasn't revoked, it
well,
probably
I'm saying, like,
would've-
yeah, even if you don't, obviously he did not want to become a productive member of society.
Yeah.
He could have just slipped back into being a leech in no time. Literally, I guarantee. His mom would have started drip feeding him money. So would his brother, and they would have kept it from his dad. There would have been like an awkward Christmas here or
Right,
there.
right.
But he would have been fine. But what a piece of shit. Like, pointless from all angles. He stood to gain literally nothing by killing everybody when he could have gained, you know, what do you call it? A semblance of what reality was for him before. I mean, obviously he can't burn it down to Sylvie 6 hours a night. unless he really pulls his head out of his ass to make some money. But by then, he'll probably have it far enough away from his ass that he won't want to blow it all on
Right. Yes.
like chatterbait
Yeah.
models, essentially.
He'd need to pay it for like rent.
Yeah, sure, it would have taken years, but that's the thing. He would be like breathing fresh air, free air, shitting in a toilet that had walls and a door. Like access to TV and
His mother probably would have convinced his dad to get him an apartment.
Abso-fucking-lutely. He would have continued to skate, but he's such a fucking shallow, short-sighted piece of shit that he's just like, you know what? Fine. Fuck it. It was the final tantrum.
Yeah.
But this is what you get when you foster like this behavior, because like obviously he didn't grow up in a vacuum. Like no matter how strict his dad was, his mother was enough of an enabler to let all of this happen. So what do? Nothing. They're all dead. And it's always bizarre on the other side of this where you go, oh my God, what a tragedy. And you go, well, Grant didn't get, he wasn't popped out of a flower fully formed and balding like this Skeletor looking motherfucker we see. He grew up learning the lessons that got his parents killed. I say this a lot, but like if my son goes crazy or commits a crime or ends up killing me, I can't obviously own up after I'm dead if he kills me. But like if something goes wrong and people go, well, what the fuck? I'll go, yeah, I fucking tried. Sorry. But these people don't even feel like they're trying.
Right.
Like when you get to that point where you go, oh my God, they murdered you? Try harder next time. But it's a little late now. Boy, oh boy. So that's all we're going to do for right now. If you want, let me know in the comments and we'll go over the last little bit where the brother comes in, because that's actually when it kind of sort of gets interesting, but still kind of, it's touch or go. Because again, it's just Grant. He's sitting there in police issued shorts and a t-shirt being like, nope, still don't have the answers, bro. Bye. Sorry about mom, dad, and brother.
None of us got bingo. I was so close.
I got really close too. Even though I wouldn't have given myself the award, I was one away.
Me too. I was one away on 2 different bingos.
All right, so yeah, Jill said we
says
should probably
yes.
do the second half of Cody, but yeah, so eventually we will.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are so many out there that are so long that I can't touch because it would be day after day after day of just, and who wants to watch that?
Yeah, the brother that's not dead.
Yeah, there were 3 of them. One was a half brother from a previous marriage, which is the one that moved out. So like
Yeah.
Cody and Grant were super close because they were full brothers.
Blood
And
brother.
the other guy, I think it was Jason. He was a half brother, and fucking God bless him because he seemed like the only one who had his head outside of his ass,
Mm-hmm.
like a real family, not some like bankrolling a leech.
Yeah.
Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for showing up and watching all of this nonsense with us. I mean, I've got so many opinions on this stuff, and I'm glad that you guys can watch it with me, because when I watch it alone, recreationally, I go, but why? And saying it out loud doesn't change anything, but here we are.
I was going to say that's a
your
bold
brother's
move to
not
bring in
dead.
a brother that was dead.
Yeah, bring the dead brother. Oh, here, let's put the... But they
They already brought the picture, so
yeah, I mean, Jesus H. Christ, what a fuck. And then just like, whatever. We all cope with things differently. So I've seen footage of people who act like Grant, but were totally innocent, but they also didn't have DNA or skin cells or
mounds of evidence.
cell phone data. It turns out they were just a weirdo. Like it wasn't a this, that, or in between. It was like, yeah, this is definitely for sure, or no way. But Jesus, yeah. So if that piqued your interest, look into the Grand Amato case. There are a million channels out there that cover it, and it is just wild. Every time I watch something related to like families, I always think, okay, what happened there? Probably, and how can I avoid that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you go, oh my God, what do you think the quality is that fosters a murder? Because you don't know who's going to snap or when. But if I see a pattern, I'll tell you. So far, it's just like, lackadaisical bullshit that no one pays attention to your shitty kid, and they end up murdering you or something. There's sometimes the occasional like schizophrenic break, like in late teens or early 20s, where like something will snap for literally no reason. But by and large, there's always red flags and or a huge indicator of like, hey, this is fucked. Do something about it.
Right. Yep.
And if the public at large is lucky, it stays in and like the family self-immolates. It's not like turned on the public and it's like a huge thing. I know it's terrible to say, but I'd rather have a family implode because it was dysfunctional than to have it blow up and like take out a Walmart or some shit.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all we got. I hope to see you next week for another show, probably the Yattering show if nothing goes wrong. And yeah, we'll see you guys then. So
Bye.
there it is. Thanks for watching.
Try to